2 miles is not a 30-minute walk.
Well, for some people it says 38. I don't know what that means. It says usually. I mean,
that's a 15-minute walk because I don't
15-minute walk unless you're like completely.
Hey, we're live.
Have you walked with me before?
I have done this walk.
Have you walked with me before?
Yes. No, I haven't. I don't think so.
Welcome to the walking channel.
Today we're going to talk about pedometers and proper walking etiquette. Oh, how's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
Hey, I'm gonna say this, and I hope I don't offend anyone.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
train wreck.
Yeah. No. Starting off with a bang, Lance.
I never got the pleasure of meeting Keith's mother. But all I know is that she raised one of the best friends I have in this entire world. So if we could, I would just like us to take like about 20 seconds of silence in peace and respect for Keith's mom, who recently passed away. All right, thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate that. All right,
let's talk about the dogs were quiet.
You're trying to get me upset here on the show.
No, I'm not. I mean, but hey.
But I'm doing all right. I'm doing
good. That's good.
So yeah, I wasn't on the show last week. Last Wednesday night, the night of the show, was the day that I had to call in my uncles and family friends to come say goodbye. So. And then 4 hours after your show was over, less than that, and that was it. And that's probably a good thing because she was not in. She'd been suffering for a long time, and passing's never a good thing, but sometimes it is. And in this case, it was. And because then I don't have to worry anymore. So.
Well, you were handling it. I hope I handle it half as good as you, my friend.
Me too.
So,
I tell you what, I don't want anyone to go through what my mother went through. So she had cancer. She had a rare form, and it's not one that's one of those go and get you out quickly cancers. She probably had it for at least 10 years, fought it for 8. And had some ups and downs in there, but she became her disease by the end, where that's the only thing she had left to talk about was how she felt all the time, and which kind of changed her in a lot of ways and changed our relationship and some other things. But it robbed her of the thing that was probably what I was most proud of her for most of her life was her independence and strength, right? My mother traveled the world alone after I left home. So sorry to steal the show to talk about my mom a bit, but
no, this is about your mom.
Stage is yours, Keith.
So
yeah, exactly.
My mom traveled places I only would dream of going at this point. I mean, she went to Hawaii and went scuba diving in Hawaii. Okay, that's not a big deal. A lot of people do that. She went to the Caribbean, scuba dived the Caribbean. Several places. A lot of people do that. By the time my mom stopped diving, she was a certified dive master at that point. She'd done wreck dives, done all sorts of stuff. She dove in Fiji. She dove in the Red Sea, which is not a place that a lot of people have gone on diving. She went to Nepal. She went to Bali. She walked on the Great Wall of China. She went to Egypt alone and almost got kidnapped. She traveled and saw everything she wanted to see. What the cancer robbed from her was the chance to take her grandchildren to be able to see some stuff. Because by the time the kids were old enough, that's when she got sick. Which sucks because I know she really wanted to do that. And in the end, she donated her body because her cancer is not the most common thing. so that doctors could study it some more and get as much information as they could, which was in itself a blessing to me. It helped me through the stuff, and it'll help somebody in the future. When she went through the disease, she took part in 2 different clinical trials to help get drugs to make it easier for people in the future with earlier onset of the disease so that they could have a better quality of life. So I'm very proud of what she did. And even as a young woman, she was the first journeyman skilled trades in the foundry division for General Motors as a woman, period. The first one to go through an apprenticeship to a journeyman in the entire General Motors foundry division back in the 70s. So that was a big deal too. So that's my mom.
And her name was Rosie, right?
Rosie was her name. Yep.
Wow, she sounds like a hell of a lady. And like I said, she raised you, so she must have been a hell of a woman. So.
Oh, yep. She's the one that, we went black powder shooting when I was a kid. She got into that, primitive camping and all that kind of stuff. And back in the day, she was a smoker and a drinker and worked in a foundry and cussed like a sailor, but gave me everything I ever needed. Not everything I ever wanted, but everything I ever needed, which is probably the sign of a good parent, whether they know it or not. So
that's one of my favorite quotes from the movie The Descendants, which is a movie I really enjoy. But he said, it says something like, "My father taught me to give your kids enough money so they can do anything, but not so much that they don't do anything." So,
why?
Yeah. But no, it sounds like you had an amazing mom. And since we have everybody here, first of all, Rob Oren, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, Rob.
Happy birthday,
happy
Rob.
birthday, Rob.
Another trip around the sun. And you know what? It's time for initials. Yeah. And I bet Keith knew this was coming.
He's like deep sigh.
No, I bet this Keith knew this was coming.
That's why he asked the fucking initials.
The initials are going to be R. The initials in RR, and the initials for in homage and in celebration of Keith's mom and her life. So, for those of you who have never heard us play initials or haven't played initials, I have 15 people, places, things, sayings, could be anything. They're going to have the initials of RR. I'm going to give the clues. There are 5 clues for each one. When you think you know the answer, you use your name. Your name is your buzzer. I will call upon you. If there's any question as to who called in first, we turn to our resident judge and scorekeeper. That is Kabuki Kid. Is she in presence today?
Kabuki is in presence, and so is Paul as backup. So we got both.
Very good. Very good. So we have both. They are the final adjudicators of justice and reality. We have 15 people, places, things, sayings. They have RR. I've talked enough. I'm sure you've thought of certain things. As always, the Anthony rules are in effect, meaning that Anthony cannot ring in.
They're already chiming in. Anthony 10, Anthony 6.
He gave us this strategy last week. I mean, come on.
No. Anthony cannot chime in until the second clue is completed and set. So. Is everyone ready? Is everyone excited?
Yay! Let's go.
All right.
I cannot wait for the humiliation.
I've got some in here that I tried to go against type a little bit because of the fact that Anthony was trying to say that he had a thing. So let's see what happens here.
Oh, trying to guess what you would put up.
He was reading you.
Exactly. Here we go.
He'll still win.
Probably. Born in 1947.
That was not when my mom was born, just so you know.
First role was as the pizza delivery boy.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner is correct.
What?
How did you know that?
That's ridiculous that I have to wait.
Because you said actor and Rob Reiner said actor.
I didn't say. I said first role was Pizza Boy in Adam West's Batman in 1967.
Was he really the pizza boy? I didn't know that.
Has a famous father, well-known meathead, and still acts. Yeah, still acts, but is perhaps more well-known for his direction. So
I would have got it on Meathead, but it didn't make it.
he was really good in Wolf and Wall Street. I enjoyed him in that movie. All right.
He was
Here we go. Debuted in 1953. Did not get their own title until 1960. Star of print, television, and film. Employs a French chef.
Pete.
Yes.
Rachel Ray.
Oh, I didn't think of that one.
Employs a French chef and a robot maid. Anthony.
Richie Rich.
Richie Rich is correct.
Very good, Anthony.
He don't make money. He poses for money.
All right, here we go. Is 76 years old. Diagnosed with breast cancer in 1993 and underwent successful surgery and chemotherapy. Appeared in TV's Roots and Generations.
What?
Former model. He's a complicated man. No one understands him but his woman, John Shaft.
Holy
I can't
crap.
think of his last name.
Rob. Richard Roundtree.
Richard Roundtree is correct. Rob on the board.
Wow.
Way to go, buddy.
It's an upset.
Yeah.
Rob, you don't have to do the just say your name.
I forgot my name, man. I forgot my name.
All right. Is over 100 years old.
Pete. Reading Railroad.
But I like where your head's at. In 1987, only Coca-Cola was more well known.
Anthony.
Rolling Rock.
Created by friends Charles and Henry.
Huh.
Expensive jet. Keith.
Rocky Road.
Wow. And half the field is out.
Expensive jet engine development crippled the business, forcing liquidation. I'll repeat that one. Expensive jet engine development in the 1960s crippled the business, forcing its liquidation.
Shit.
Final clue.
Tina. Rolls Royce.
Yep.
Rolls Royce. Look at this.
Nice.
Well done.
Yes.
Wait 3 seconds and I would have had the aircraft. Ran the damn mouth.
Well-known manufacturer of cars and planes. Oh, it's anybody's game.
Can somebody say the score just so I can feel good for this 4 seconds?
One for me, one for Keith, one for you.
Oh,
one
yeah?
for Tina.
Really? Okay, just one.
Everybody but Aldi and Pete has one.
Yeah, Aldi, Pete,
Thanks for pointing that out.
Didn't Pete get one?
No, I didn't. I misguessed.
All right.
I think you got Rob Reiner.
No, I
But
didn't.
your microphones work. Your microphones work. That's good. So here we go. Began in Seattle, Washington in 1969. However, it now finds its headquarters in Colorado.
Anthony.
Well, wait, whoa.
I heard Aldi first.
I had Aldi first. I had Aldi.
Rolling Rock.
All right,
I'll take
Anthony.
another clue.
Anthony.
I took it away from you, huh? Oh, sure. Yeah.
Tina.
Tina.
Red Robin.
Red Robin is correct. Holy cow.
Oh my God.
Tina with the lead.
Get some of that. That's my ringer.
This never happens.
Well, was named after a popular barbershop quartet song. Original location was demolished in 2014. Popular casual dining restaurant known for its jingle and the comment of "Yum."
Okay, now that I'm behind, can I answer on the first clue?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The rules are in effect for a reason, so you have an excuse. All right, so here we go. Hall of Famer. A two-time champion.
Anthony. Ronda Rousey.
It's a good guess.
Appeared on television for 2 different promotions in the same evening.
Oh.
Rob. Rick Rude.
Rick Rude is correct. Yes, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Anthony, come on. You're typecasting.
Finished off his opponents by breaking their necks.
Wow.
And managed by Bobby Heenan and famously feuded with Jake the Snake.
I've never heard of Rick Rude.
Ravishing Rick Rude. Oh my God, he was like one of the best bad guys of all time. All right, here we go. Released in 1973. Rebranded and founded in 1968.
What was the first clue again?
Wait, what?
Released in 1973.
Rob. Rolling Rock.
Okay. Second clue. Rebranded and founded in 1968.
What?
Enjoyed by children for years.
Anthony.
Roadrunner.
What?
Aldi.
Reading Rainbow. Reading Rainbow.
That's not what you said.
It's wrong anyway.
Well, I took it away from you at least.
Okay. So clue number 3: enjoyed by children for years.
Tina. Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers is correct. Holy cow! Clue number 4 is born in 1911. And last clue is it's a song, a restaurant, a
Tina,
drink.
you're not looking it up, right?
No.
So Tina 3, Rob 2, 81.
Tina went to Yale. Ivy League school.
The R does make it much easier. I'll tell you that.
But she should know like intelligent stuff, not like useless knowledge like Roy Rogers. That's my department.
See, the Roy Rogers one is a trick because it's a song by Elton John. It's a drink. It's the singer. It's a restaurant. So I was able to have a lot of different options there. All right, here we go.
Fantastic.
Hey Pete, how you doing?
Yeah.
Clue number 1. 82 years old. Number 2. Presidential Medal of Freedom winner.
Come on, this is stupid.
Oh.
Robert Redford.
That is correct.
I am playing this whole game under protest.
After theater and TV, he made their screen debut in 1960. Academy Award-winning director. My dad's wife once sent him a letter when she was 18, and he with a picture of herself.
Oh, that would have made me guess it.
And he. Oh, don't go away with your ball.
No.
Fine.
I'll handicap Tina next time because she went to Yale.
For the record, I didn't go to Yale. Just.
I meant Ivy League. Same
Okay.
thing.
Here's true story though. My dad's
it was Harvard instead.
Yes.
My dad's
True story.
True story. My dad's wife, who lived in Belfort, North Dakota, that's where she grew up, sent him a letter with a picture of herself when she was like a cheerleader in high school when she was 17. And he wrote her back personally asking her to look him up if she's like, and she has the letter. If you ever come to New York, you should really try to, you should look me up. So Robert, and she held on to it because Robert Redford tried to pick her up. So there you go. Creepy. All right, where were we? Oh,
We
here
were done.
You were cheating me out of winning this game.
Mhm.
Question 9.
All right, here we go. This is a more common name than the technical one. It can be mobile and found in buildings. It is commonly staffed by specialists.
Pete,
Pete.
Red Rocket.
If you have ever had surgery, you have most likely been Anthony.
Recovery room.
Recovery room is correct, Anthony. That's right. If you've had surgery, you're most likely been one. And the actual name is a post anesthesia care and recovery room. Is the more commonly known as. I thought you weren't answering anymore, Anthony.
I went into the third question.
Fair enough. Here we go. Launched in 1970.
Anthony.
Made in the UK and Australia. Anthony, you still want to answer?
No, bad.
Okay.
Keith.
Keith.
Rolling Rock.
Originally only available in the United States through the gray market. Clue number 4. Began being sold directly in the United States in 1987, but under a different name.
Crack doesn't begin with R.
It's the other name for it.
Final clue. This car is home on the range.
Anthony.
Anthony.
Range Rover.
Range Rover is correct. Anthony storming back into the contention, even though he said he wasn't going to answer any more questions.
I'm waiting for the 6th clue.
Oh, okay. Very good. All right, here we go. Commonly seen in spacecraft. However, these were originally fitted into the nose cone. Keith.
Retro Rockets.
Retro Rockets is correct. Fitted in the nose cones of World War II aircraft. Used for deceleration, have been used on Mars, and videos of them were made available for the SpaceX
retro rocket.
reusable rocket program during landings. It's the rockets that go off when the SpaceX thing lands, basically to slow down deceleration. Yeah.
Sure they are.
Yeah, they are. Well, can we get a score update? I think we got a tie.
It is 3-3-3-2. Anthony, Tina, Keith with 3, Rob with 2. Aldi and Pete with participation trophies.
Yes. Well, technically, they're not out of it. They're not mathematically eliminated. So
we will be in a second.
We have 4 left. So I think we're good here. All right. Debuted in 1949.
Pete. Ronald Reagan.
I do like the fact that you're swinging, though. You're not just standing up there like Aldi, you know?
I have a reputation to protect.
Clue number 2. Is unaffected by gravity. Clue number 3. Nearly mute. Clue number 4. Has an arch nemesis.
Oh.
Clue number 5. Has never been caught, beaten, or eaten.
Anthony.
Roadrunner is correct. Beep, beep.
Mm-hmm. Good one.
Anthony climbs back into the lead after much grousing. He didn't even wait for the 6th clue, however. So
Liar.
Liar. All right, here we go. First mentioned in 1937.
Pete.
Pete.
Ricky Ricardo.
No. But thank you again. Do we have a lovely copy of our home game for me?
No.
A game of chance. Has been seen in many movies, books, and television shows. A board game based on this was published in 2017.
Rob.
Tina.
Russian roulette?
Russian roulette is correct. Well done.
Sorry,
Tina.
Rob. Sorry.
Don't
1 in
apologize.
6
He's slow.
chance of ending a life.
It could
All right.
be less. It could be 1/5. It depends on the revolver.
Well, okay.
Or it
Thank
could be
you.
more.
Thank you, Mr. Gunn. I'm glad you're
Well,
here.
it's true. Well, you really need to know those odds before you play, you know.
Yeah. This is created by the national government. It comes out 10 times a year. It has a circulation of 525,000.
Rob.
Rob.
Reader's Digest. What a moron.
Yes, that's right. The correct answer was Reader's Digest. Reader's
Digest.
All right. Go sit down over the bench with Pete. Clue number 4 has 2 companion creations for younger children. Final clue. A child's magazine with an eponymous raccoon
Keith.
for Keith.
Ranger Rick.
Ranger Rick is correct. So
I have not heard of half of these
I've
things.
never
What
heard
are
of
you
Ranger
talking
Rick
about?
before.
you've never
You ever heard of Ranger Rick?
Ranger Rick's a very Midwest thing.
Sounds
that's
kind
why.
of creepy.
He's a raccoon.
He's a raccoon. It's the National Wildlife Federation.
Kind of went with like Rocket Raccoon or something that people know.
Well, then why would I go with Rocket Raccoon? Because everybody would know that.
Okay.
I'm here to expand your mind. All right. So what's our final score?
It's 4-4-4-2.
Oh, man.
Okay. So we have spoilers that can spoil it. However, Tina, Anthony, and Keith are all like ready to go.
So I don't have to wait for the second one for the last one.
I think I want you to because I want you to earn it.
Okay.
Okay. And then you can hate me. So here we go. Famous FBI informant.
Son of a.
Why are you swearing?
Captain in the Air Force.
Pete.
Pete.
Ronald Reagan.
That is correct. Well done, Pete. Getting
Oh, I
in
thought
there.
we
at the
couldn't
end.
answer.
No, you can answer.
Oh.
Did you know
it,
that?
Rob?
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah. He and his wife ratted out on people they thought might be communists in Hollywood. So, early career was known for being on time and sober. Was indirectly involved in the discovery of Marilyn Monroe and the 40th president of the United States. All right, so I do have a singular tiebreaker. So the tiebreaker is it's only got 3 clues, and it can only be answered by the people that have the full number or for the 4.
So me, Keith, or Tina.
Mm.
Such
Exactly.
prejudice.
I think Anthony is allowed to answer this one whenever he wants.
Well, yeah, there's only 3. No, he has to wait till after the 3rd. That's the only way to do it. No. So so everybody else just can get all excited, and
The rest of us can suck it.
yes, there you go. All right. So, here we go. Clue number 1 is the youngest of 3 children.
Oh man.
Who would know that though? That's the thing.
Clue number
I
2.
do.
Shush! Keep your mouth shut. Respect the authority, or respect the whatever it is. Okay.
Sure as hell ain't authority.
All right, here we go. Competed in the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens at the age of 17, the youngest for their sport. Final clue. Retired from judo at age 21.
Anthony.
Keith?
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey is correct.
Wait. I heard both of us at the same time. We didn't go for a judge on that one?
Well,
I heard Keith first.
Keith first.
I did too, but we will go to the judges. And hey, Anthony, I will fully admit that you knew the answer was Ronda Rousey. So if it comes back saying that you
Kabuki
said
said Keith answered first.
All right, well then.
Roll out to get me. I knew Robert Redford on 82 on the first clue. Fixed.
It's all fixed.
It is a fix.
Fix.
Oh, look, Richard comes in after initials.
Because
Oh,
he's smart, unlike the rest of us.
you missed
Richard's
it.
like, as soon as this stupid crap's over,
Oh,
I'm
wait.
coming in.
No, wait. It's going to announce now that Richard wins. Richard, you won.
Hooray!
Nobody
Congratulations.
nobody enjoys a poor winner or poor loser.
I don't know. In other things, they don't make the people wait for everybody else.
Well,
That's like saying in a baseball game, like the best baseball player has to like hit the ball and they like count to 3 before they start running to first base.
I'm
They
giving
do
the-
that.
Yeah, they do that. And just think of how much more glorious your victories would be if you managed to pull it off.
It's just like golf. It's a handicap. That's
There
all.
you go. There you go.
The best players got to give a few strokes to us scrubs.
Yeah.
Oh, did
So-
Anthony not win?
No, he did not.
I had to wait to the end of the second question.
That's the only reason.
Who won?
Keith did.
Keith.
But we had a 3-way tie for first.
Yeah,
wow.
we had to go to the tiebreaker because Tina's tearing it up.
Yeah, Tina out of nowhere just was.
She went to Oxford and Yale and Harvard.
Oh man,
Keep adding
this
schools
is
to her
how
resume.
this is
And
how
Dartmouth.
work gets
I
started.
wouldn't think any of that would help in this particular game, no.
No.
Unless
That
her
may
major
actually be a
was
detriment.
useless trivia.
There you go, Richard.
How we doing there, bud?
I'm doing okay. How's everybody out there in the great wide world?
Fantastic.
I've been better.
How are those grapes? Nice
I
and
just got
sour?
robbed.
All right. So hey, I noticed something today. I was gonna talk about this. I wanted to talk about Kickstarter real quick. So
Are we doing our list again? Do I need to pull it up?
well, if you want to pull up your list of things that haven't been delivered yet, then feel free. We can browse about that a little bit. But
Doing it?
I do think that you have that follow ability where you can go in and you can follow certain creators and you can see, and you can follow. I think you can follow people too.
You can follow people.
Yeah, you can follow backers.
Yep.
I get notices all the time that someone's following me.
Stop.
Yeah, I wonder who that would
That's
be.
bad.
I get like 7 of those a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so here's one of the things that if you follow a creator and then you see them launch a title and then the day or two later they back their own title.
You can't
Do
pick your
you-
own title.
Well, I mean,
You can. So
How?
let's tell you how. So if I set up a Kickstarter under Hexagram 63 and I have an account under my name, I can back it.
yeah. So I can see the fact that they just gave their account. I mean,
Wait,
what's your initial gut reaction to that?
wait. How do you back your own title?
If
So
you have two
Separate
different
name
accounts,
username.
Yeah.
separate
So if
account.
Colossal Games launches a Kickstarter, but Travis backs it with his personal account, you can back your own
Oh, yeah,
Kickstarter.
of course. Yeah, 2 separate accounts.
Yes.
You can't back the same.
No. Creators can't back their own
Right,
account, but
individual
most
versus,
of them use a company account and have their own
right.
personal accounts.
Yeah. So I mean, but we're smart enough to know because we know these people, right? And you see
Right.
them and then they back it, and they also back it for like one of the highest level backing
It's $1.
levels too.
It tells you.
Well, I mean, you can kind of gist it when there isn't I'm not going to say the name of it, but there was one level of the thing, and it was like it was just sitting out there forever for this thing. It was like the
the
really
$7,500 get me over
the
the hump,
luxury thing,
the $5,000 get out of jail card or whatever,
whatever it is.
Do people still do that? Do you pay yourself $5,000 to get 10?
Actually, less with the
pay
fees
tax
and
on
stuff. You're losing money
Yeah.
on it, yeah.
Seems stupid.
I mean,
Like-
I think it's just marketing.
Well, maybe, but I mean, it is one of those things too, where it's like, well, famously, okay, I don't want to drag things to the mud, but remember that idea.
Put your boots on.
No, when Geek Chic had that idea that they were going to have like the gaming salons and stuff.
and they backed their own Kickstarter for $40,000.
Well, no, I remember there was like the luxury level or whatever was like a $5,000 pledge, and like a person that worked for Geek Chic dropped the $5,000 and backed it, and the total backing on it was like $8,000. You're just like, yeah, this, I mean, I get it. It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, look, somebody believes in this so much they're willing to give us $5,000, but I don't know. It makes me think, there's something wrong here. I don't know. It seems crummy to me.
I think it's to artificially inflate that.
Why do you care?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Oh, Jesus. Don't be the moderator of justice here, Richard. Why do I care?
I must shake my fist at the universe.
Old man fights with a cloud.
Old man argues with cloud.
Argues with cloud.
I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, if you had the $5,000 or whatever to invest in your own company, then why didn't you plan on investing that $5,000?
Obviously, they're doing it as a form of advertising. It's unfortunate that Kickstarter is such a fickle beast that people will only choose to back if they see that other people have already done it, thereby defeating the entire purpose of the exercise. And because of the cold, hard reality of it, I mean, when people set out, when buskers put out their guitar case and start playing on the street, they throw a couple bucks in first so that other people are more inclined to throw some money in as well. It's just standard operating procedure.
Oh crap! I usually go and make change. That's what that was for. Oh man, no wonder they were so angry and yelling at me.
You got to be.
Where's the etiquette with making change out of a busker's pot? Is there an etiquette there? Do you make change? I only have a 20, but I only want to give you like $5.
Yeah,
what do you
no,
do?
I mean, I just wanted straight change. I was like, I need 4 quarters and 4 ones. So I mean, no wonder the guy
was
freaking out. Jeez,
It's
no
no different than that scene in Jaws, Pete, where the first people go into the water and then everybody else goes in.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, you kids go in the water.
Yeah, you guys go in there first.
Family,
right? Look, it must be fine because there goes the 2 old people and the kids.
Well, isn't that more like if there's 100 people in the water and only one of you is going to get bit, the chances are less. That you're not the one. My son busted out the my 6-year-old son busted out when I was talking about sharks with him. He said, more people get killed by vending machines every year than sharks. And I had to explain to him why that was so. I was like, would you go? I said, where's a vending machine? There's one at my school. If it was a shark, would you walk up to it? He's just like, no. Yes, exactly. So, just like, it's because.
Also, people are dumb and try to steal crap out of vending machines.
Yeah, they try to shake them and whatever else. So it's like, would you walk up to the shark and start shaking it? Just, hey.
I would. Absolutely.
Give me my soda. Just like, I don't know. I always, and then the other stat, more people are bitten in 3 feet of water by sharks than anywhere else. Well, that's because that's where they are.
People are.
Not a lot of people in the deep ocean. Oh. Anyway,
I guess the Kickstarter thing is weird because you're basically paying yourself money to make money, right? Like if you're short, are you talking about if you're short or if you're like
like this one it was a thing that was short, and then it was like, and I was kind of following it but not really, and then because I decided I didn't want to back it, and then all of a sudden it was like $3,000 short, and this like top level pledge was like $5,000. We'll come to your house and derp, you know, that sort of thing.
Well, they could
also miraculously they were $2,000 over. I got the email saying this thing backed this thing, and then it was like, oh, and that, you know, 1 of 1 remaining became 0 of 1 remaining, so they could like publish their thing. And I was just
I've
like,
seen that happen before, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Somebody could have gave him money. Somebody could have gave him money and said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to push you over the top and back the project," and they kicked it in to just send it over.
Yeah, I mean, but Lance, would you rather that they say, "Oh, because they didn't quite get the last $1,500, that you shouldn't publish this at all"?
Yes,
and
yes, I would.
All the work you've done, all the money that's been paid to the artist, it should just all be canceled. I mean,
yes, Richard, that would make me more happy.
They bought their tickets. I say, let them crash.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get the level of the room here. I think I'm starting to get into
it's Lance. Come on, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you're gonna be able to make it more often, Richard.
Everyone needs a foil.
Yes.
How did I not know about this North Sea Epilogues RPG? I gotta back this just to get the art in this rulebook.
Oh, is it all Miko all the time?
It looks that way, at least on the page. So yeah, I've got a Miko shelf, so I'm gonna keep that going.
He painted a shelf for you?
Wow. No, I've just got all this art in it from different games. But that would be cool.
That would be cool.
I'd love a Miko Crokinole board like Aldi has done at Board Game Geek. For last year's theme, that would have been fantastic.
God, that would be great. Unfortunately, the painter retired.
Find a new painter.
No more painted boards. Yeah, it sucks.
Find a new painter.
How about the Miko?
The problem is she lived. No, they don't. They don't have a replacement.
So what thing? That artist, he retired?
She retired, yeah.
Oh, you mean the person who did the actual painting?
Yeah.
Are there any other options besides painting? Is there some kind of silk screening option, or
they don't have a new way to paint custom pieces, but they have a way to do. He sent me an image of something where they were working on like multiple types of wood and colored wood to make like I don't know what you call it, but like it's not inlay, but like it could create a design, but not very complicated because it was
Intarsia?
CNC routed, whatever. Is that the right word?
Intarsia, different types of wood. Then you put them together. Then when you stain it,
let me see if I can find a picture. I'll dig it up. And then I kind of think I dropped the ball. I was going to say, well, just do something basic, and then I kind of forgot. It's hard to keep everything going, especially when I'm already used to not having the painter be available. Crokinole. Keep talking, by the way, while I'm looking this up.
No, we'll just stand here and listen to you.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, we'd like to listen to you clack away. I'm totally scrolling through Kickstarter because I haven't looked at it for like 2 months.
Yep. I'm still sitting on the same 3 yet to fund or yet to fulfill.
Oh, I've got a bunch yet to fulfill.
Like
they're all TMG games I haven't fulfilled for me.
Yeah, one of mine is a TMG game.
They're coming.
They're coming eventually, one day. I know I'm going to get them because I'll get them and I'll be happy with them.
Is that showing up?
I don't know. I have to go back.
I mean, these are pretty good. Yeah. I should have just said make one, but now I think I'm too late.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah.
Some of them are cool.
It's like an extra life thing.
That looks like Captain Shield with the extra life. So, yeah. The best looking Crokinole board I ever saw was like 4 years ago at Gen Con. And I think it was like $5,000 or something ridiculous like that.
What?
Oh, it was custom, all cut out and inlaid wood pieces. It was by one of those big premium woodworking companies. It was nuts. I think we're seeing all the same ones over and over.
It's kind of. It's like fuck yeah, USA.
America.
give me a
Make me one says America on it.
America.
America. Get right.
I don't know. Maybe next year I'll come up with something for them to make.
I want an over/under from everybody. How many battle royale, first-person, third-person shooters will come out in the next year?
5.
5.
In only 1 year.
Well, I already know of 2. Or do those count? So 3 more beyond the 2 I know.
Sure.
So 5.
I had a buddy of mine talk about someone called Fractured Lands, which is kind of like a Mad Max one that he says is just amazing.
I'm going to say 6.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 4.
Should I record
4.
this? So we can.
I don't know.
Did we
Probably
already
should.
talk about the
72.
Yeah, we did.
12.
72.
72?
Just going crazy.
Man,
Like
I
the
have no
Fractured-
idea what you're talking about, but okay.
I want Spider-Man Battle Royale. 50 Spider-Mans versus 50 Venoms.
Yes. So Fractured Lands is a new one. A buddy of mine told it's very Mad Max looky, and as when you drop down, you have basically a Mad Max vehicle, and the difference. The big difference is you all land in the same spot, and everybody leaves and runs out as fast as they can to grab stuff, and then they come back into the middle to fight. So I don't know. It's an interesting genre of game. People are pretty excited about these things. It's the Fortnite and the PUBG stuff there, Anthony.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't care.
How soon do we see a board game version of Fortnite?
Never.
Wasn't there already? It already got announced.
Really?
Fortnite Monopoly. Yeah, it was announced.
Oh, you know what I mean.
I mean, come on. What? That's a board game, though.
Oh, okay,
Then
funny
count-
guy.
No,
Besides Monopoly.
how long before we get 10,000 games that have? It's like Fortnite the board game, not an actual Fortnite game. It's like Fortnite the board game.
Did you see the article about 200 divorces recently have been Fortnite is cited as the reason?
Nice.
What?
Yeah. Fortnite. Let me bring up the article.
Do you know? It's not hard to believe because WoW is probably responsible for thousands of divorces over its time, if not more.
Fortnite is cited as a reason for 200 divorces in the UK.
EverQuest was a real problem
that
for
there's
me.
exactly 200. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
What did it say? Over 200.
EverQuest 2 was almost my bane. I played
Yeah, I
that
know,
way
I
too
mean-
much.
Yeah, EverQuest. Yeah, I got into it, and then Jen got into it hard, and I eventually quit. And but she was still just completely addicted, and that was actually pretty tough for a while.
I went through the same thing.
Yeah.
My wife and I were playing
World of
2
Warcraft.
computers each in EverQuest.
Wow.
Double
Yeah, it was
box.
crazy. Yeah. Back before we had children.
It says World of Warcraft is also cited as a
World of Warcraft's
reason.
light, so that's not
So-
too.
So basically, what you're saying is we have to wait until Alaboom causes a divorce, and then we finally made it. Is that
We
what
made
you're saying?
it, yeah.
Well, let's see. We've got 31 people watching, assuming
Like we
half of
did.
them are married. So we've got like a 1 in 15 chance of causing a divorce. Those are good odds.
But what's the theory behind causing divorces? Is it because they spend too much time on the computer?
These are all games that require hours upon hours of dedication in order to be good. So people just overdo it and spend every waking minute, night, middle of the night, skip work, that kind of stuff.
Are there actual like in-game purchases in Fortnite? Like, will you spend actual money?
I think that's
Yeah.
the
Oh,
only.
yes.
It's all microtransactions.
It's
I think the
all-
game is free,
yeah.
right? And then you
The
just
game is
spend
free.
money on upgrades and stuff.
Correct.
And all the upgrades
Season
are just cosmetic things.
Right. So
But-
I'm sure part of it has to do with people spending hundreds of dollars a month
Right.
on microtransactions.
So in the end, it's money, but Fortnite.
Well,
isn't.
yeah. So the big thing with it is that for $100, whenever there's like a new season that comes out, for $100 they give you just enough virtual currency to purchase everything from that season. Because there's a tier, there's like a tiering that you go through as far as like getting certain rewards, and so like you buy that and then like you unlock everything and then they give you quests after that to keep playing. So they're just banking on like every whatever it is 8 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks or whatever when a new season comes out, that the people that play it are just going to give them $100, and then they show you. Then they show you cool little, oh, look at this cool skin you could be wearing and playing with, that kind of thing.
Am I wrong in thinking that you can't just buy it? You have to play too. You buy the battle pass and then you have to play to unlock it, or no?
Well, yeah, but you can pay to unlock the steps on the battle tiers.
Oh, I thought that only let you unlock it.
Yes, but there are certain things that you have to play to get though. They'll launch like a special thing.
You can't just buy it, right?
Well, okay. There's 100 battle tiers. If you buy the battle pass, it's like $25, and then you get the battle pass, and then it gives you 25 tiers. The remaining 75 tiers you can buy for 150 virtual bucks each, and if $100 spent is exactly the amount you need to pay for the battle pass and those extra 75 tiers, and that's and they just, mathematically it's like, oh, okay, every 6 to 8 weeks, I'm just going to give this guy $100. And, because it's just like, and then you rationalize it in your head, however you're going to rationalize it. And then like they give you little quests and stuff to unlock other stuff as you play. And then they always show something new in the lobby. Look at this cool little new dance you can have. Won't this be cool? You can use this dance.
But you think that's the reason for the divorce? The real reason for the divorce is that he gets up maybe once every 12 hours.
Or she.
Okay. We'll look at it either way. Goes into the cabinet, takes the ranch flavored Doritos, the bottle of Mountain Dew. Okay. The other person comes home from a hard day of work, goes to get those Doritos and Mountain Dew. Next thing you know, you're served.
Son of a bitch. No one touches my Doritos.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's simple as that.
Where's Forrest?
Yeah. Now Forrest could get through this because he's got enough Doritos for like 8 marriages. So I think he's good. He's safe.
He's golden.
He's golden.
His wife is still around. She's not going anywhere.
No, she can't. He's barricaded her in with Doritos.
Yeah.
I thought Forrest was more of a hippie lettuce guy and Taco Bell.
Oh no, Forrest buys Doritos in bulk.
Yeah, he makes money off of Doritos.
Yeah.
He buys Doritos to make money.
Yeah, you missed the whole Xbox giveaway.
Whenever Xbox launches a new console or a new big title, they always do an Xbox giveaway thing, and he'll buy literally 500 bags of Doritos to get the codes to then enter the contest enough times to guarantee he wins back like 3 Xboxes and a bunch of free stuff. So,
and he wins?
And then he sells the Doritos off to his friends in buckets.
No, he was selling. There was some scheme to it.
You could sell the codes. And it was just a weird.
Yeah.
He's running some pyramid scam with Doritos and codes.
Like Bitcoin. It was like Bitcoin or something.
Bitcoin with
like
Doritos.
Doritos.
It was Dorito coin.
Dorito mining.
I'll end up with Dorito dust. Oh.
Did you guys see this post on Board Game Geek where the guy basically is giving up his entire hobby? He's like, I'm out forever and ever. He'd been in for 10 years. It's like a front page article.
Oh, well, now color. You had my attention.
Look at all the driving traffic to BGG.
Oh, yes.
Hey, free games. Go to BGG.
Is it in general gaming or where is it?
I'm just trying to come up with topics to talk about because I got to go soon.
Is it where is it located? Like,
it's like in the War Games forums, like this guy.
Oh, it's kind of like the pit of villainy and scum, the War Games forums. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. War Gamers, don't email me angrily.
All three of you that are watching.
It's a 10-page thread. I think the guy.
Forums,
it's called "Goodbye Board Gaming" is the title.
Forums hot.
Do you want me to post it? I can paste it too.
Well, I can't see it because I went to Forums hot and there's like nothing here. So
there,
it must not be that hot of a thing.
So it's Goodbye Board Gaming. I've decided to quit the hobby. We've been growing. It's a big post. I don't know if I want to read the whole thing.
Well, no. What? Give me the link, son. There it is.
Posted in the thing. Let me read it.
All right, now here your voice sucks. I'll read it.
What sucks?
Your voice.
Your voice.
God.
Wow.
All right. See
How
you guys.
proud.
Getting late.
And
Getting
with
late.
that,
all these
Aldi went and posted is goodbye, Alaboom.
Goodbye, Alaboom.
Oh, Scott.
We were totally.
I want to know
Wait,
what
we
your.
can
What
do
your
that?
Go ahead and read it, please.
I want
read
your.
it.
I
It's
want your
actually an
opinions.
interesting article. Like it's a real thing. I think.
I want your opinions on this, though.
I think that'd
Okay.
make a great
Well,
badge,
yeah.
Aldi.
All right, so this is to
Your
give
voice
credit.
sucks.
It's
Goodbye,
Ahmed.
voice sucks.
Alaboom.
Ahmed Hadzi is who wrote it. I decided to quit the hobby. We have been growing apart for some time now. Nostalgia is already hard at work, and doubts are mounting before they get the best of me. It is time to commit to paper what has been sitting on my mind for a while. Growing up outside the USA, I wasn't exposed to board gaming at a young age. The only games I knew as a kid were Monopoly and Risk. At the same time, I did play a lot of video games. My favorite was always Civilization, locking thousands of hours. Based upon my video game taste, it's obvious now I had a predisposition to like this stuff. One summer in 2008, boredom led my friend and I to an idea to buy a copy of Risk and relive some of our childhood memories. We walked into a Toys R Us store in Times Square, intending to do so, and saw a copy of Axis and Allies sitting on the shelf. What's this? We asked ourselves, decided to pick it up. We read the rules and set up a game. The game choices felt so much richer than Risk. We were instantly hooked. And the whole summer, we spent almost all our time playing the game after work until wee hours in the morning. At the end of the summer, my friend went back home. He took the copy of the game with him. Playing the board game with friends was so much better than video games. I started scouring the internet for more games to play. One of these searches brought me to where the board game beat for the first time. I was shocked at the size of the game world, which escaped my attention for such a long time. I was enamored by the choices and options. I started where every newly converted gamer would start, the game rankings list. At that time, the best game ranked was Agricola. It was also advertised as a game which can be enjoyed by a solo player. Since I didn't know anybody else who liked this stuff, I picked up a copy and started reading the rules. The procedural nature of the game appealed to my character, and I started researching for more games with similar mechanisms. I like to refer to this as my Euro phase, last about a year and a half. During that period, my thoughts were always going back to Axis and Allies. Growing up in formerly Yugoslavia, my generation had a steady diet of movies and shows in which partisans are fighting Germans. We are conditioned to be intrigued by World War II and its history. This led me to search for my first war game. The research showed that I might like tactical scale better to begin with, and my choices were narrowed down to Tides of Iron or Combat Commander. I was very lucky to pick the latter. Clarity of Chad Jensen's rules and the theme of the game hooked me like nothing else before. I knew that I had found my true gaming passion. The quality of GMT production was another reason why I sunk more into wargaming. After buying the Combat Commander, I started exploring the rest of their catalog. Again, inexperienced as I was, I used the same rankings to find my next purchase. The GMT had Twilight Struggle and Paths of Glory sitting in the top 20. Buying these two games started my CDG phase. Limitations of the CDGs in organizing your forces in a meticulous manner and lack of World War II CG games prompted my next round of research. My tastes were ever evolving, and I started looking into hex and counter games. This is where everything finally clicked. The games covered the themes, which intrigued me in detail, which was fascinating. It was a match made in heaven. I quickly started to expand my collection. Soon after that last transition, I learned about GMT East, practically in my backyard. I lived in New York City at the time. I visited for the first time in 2013. I met some wonderful people there, and I felt at home playing these games with like-minded folks. It was so refreshing to be able to sit and just play without explaining the rules at great lengths. In 2016, I was lucky enough to find a steady FTF partner who shared my passion, lived only blocks away. We played many games, normally once a week, until I moved to the DC area to start my new job. After I moved, I stacked my games to the shelf and realized what I started suspecting a while back. I stopped being a gamer. I became a collector. For
1592. It was hot. No sign of the whale.
For someone who considered himself a gamer at heart, this is a major point of conflict. I was hoping for all that some of my close friends might find the same interest and that they will be willing to play the games with me. They didn't. I was hoping that I will meet some nice folks, which I will be able to game with on a regular basis. I did, but they were so few and far apart. Vassal was helpful to a point. Not Tom Vassal, but Vassal, Vassal. Playing out it kills a tactile sensation, which led me to like the board gaming in the first place. Good luck remembering the rules after a few weeks. On occasion, an interested non-gaming partner would see my collection and ask to play the game. Unless they asked about Combat Commander or Try to Struggle, I would normally respond, let me get back to you after I read the rules again. No one has that much patience these days. I started playing games that I liked in hope that I will have the time to sit down and learn them. With Friday games coming each month, it's hard to spend time pouring over 20-plus pages of rules to play this game once or twice if lucky. Before the game in question gets replaced by a newer and shinier model, I find myself running out of space to store my new purchases. I finally realized that my idea of being a board gamer is just a dream. I feel sadness passing my shelf for all the games I simply can't get to. A romantic idea in which I have enough attention, time, and friends to lose myself in this world has not capitalized after a decade. In retrospect, this was an amazing 10-year period that allowed me to consider myself a part of this community. For me, this show hasn't been canceled. It just ran its course and ended after season 10. This is an invitation to all of you to help me liquidate my collection. I plan to sell all of it, well, maybe not Combat Commander, and I hope you will be kind enough to help me in that. In addition to the games, there will be C3I magazines in great condition and various other accessories. My plan is to start the sale by the end of the day tomorrow. I hope to see you all there. And then he went back and said, I am, and he posted his, that it was active. And yeah. And people are, people seem supportive, and some people seem to be.
I think that's the common time frame, though. Like 10 years is like what I've kind of found in friends that kind of like if they're in it forever, they're in it forever, right? But after about 10 years, you'll notice you'll just get bored of it and be done.
Oh, I'm
It's a
just coming up on 10 years.
It's a 10-year itch. Anyway, I told him I was there myself with Warhammer. And I loved Warhammer, played it all the time. Then eventually just kind of fell out and didn't find anybody to play with. Nobody was playing it. Didn't have time for painting, and then I sold it all, and now I really regret it. So I told them think twice before selling it all.
Is it kind of like the McRib, and that's why they don't have it on the menu all the time?
That's why because if you had McRib at 24/7 access, you would be like,
no, I'm out.
We don't
screw that.
We don't need it.
Too much sauce.
I think a lot of people fall out of it, but not everybody.
Your finality. You're out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play nearly as many games as I used to, and that makes me sad. But I still really love playing board games when I get to. So
yeah, I feel like you're on the edge of your 10-year itch, right? Aren't you about that?
Well, I got back into it. Well, it's a little over.
You're back into it because of Warhammer.
Yeah, but I'm a little. But also, I started in 2006, is when I really started getting into it again. So it's a little over 10 years. I don't know. I mean, I still like it. It's just, but it's not the same. If that's anything, though.
I mean, my videos have driven a lot of people out of the business, out of the community.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people sell everything. Screw this.
Paint.
Wait, so Lance, you say it's not the same. Does that have anything to do you think, with becoming a professional?
That was funny.
An employee
Richard,
of
that was funny.
Games. I don't know if they're the same. Joking aside, I'm curious if you think that has something to do with it, because that certainly, I mean, me making video games for 20 years is what's made, video games are dead to me. I can't even fathom playing one or having any interest in them at all. And a big part of that is because I spent so many years of my adult life dissecting them and taking them apart and putting them back together and trying to make money out of it doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just different now. I mean, it isn't what it was. And I've actually did some like I don't know. I guess soul searching is the wrong word, but I did a lot of just consideration as far as like where I'm at.
I think he's right though. I mean, before I was in the industry, I used to go to 2 to 3 board game nights a week. I used to read board game rules and digest as much board game media on YouTube and Twitch and whatnot as I could. And the last 3 or 4 years now that I've been actually working in the industry, I may play a game or two every couple weeks, and that's pretty much all I do now. I mean, I'm the most of my free time I want to be as far away from board games as possible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For me, it's not to be wanting to be away from board games. For me, a lot of it is I want to be playing a board game that I already know how to play, that everybody at the table already knows how to play, and it's not, there isn't somebody with their nose buried in the rule book. I mean, if it's some game I have to learn for a video, or if it's a game that I have to learn for my job, fine. But if it's like, oh, hey, let's learn this, it's like, do you know how to play? Yes, great. Just teach me. I don't want to have to think. Or if it's like my friends come over and like, we really want to play Battlestar Galactica. Bam, done. 5 people, let's play. This is going to be awesome because we all love Battlestar Galactica and we all know exactly how to play. So, and you can dive in and it's a good time. Yeah, I mean, that's just, but I mean, if it's like, oh, hey, we got these 17 brand new games. I mean, I love when somebody else knows how to play and I don't have to learn. I don't have to read. I don't have to figure it out. Just teach me the game, teach me how these mechanisms work, then I'll suss it out. I've had to teach Feudum a half a dozen times, and it's just
of learning.
Yeah, okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to you got an hour? Okay, let's learn how to play Feudum. I love Feudum. I really love the game, but I dread teaching it.
If that's proving to be an issue for you, I'm wondering how much longer you're going to be doing a video review a week, or whatever your old acronym used to be. I mean, if the show is dragging down your appreciation for the hobby, at what point does the hobby come before the show?
Oh, this will be great. Rich will be back in the U.S. He'll be on the show every week. This is going to be awesome.
Alaboom, hosted by Richard Rado.
Boom.
No, it's like the live show and the podcast I do for TMG. I mean, that's taken up a lot of my creative processes.
I bet.
I'm involved in designing games now, which is actually pretty exciting. So, that's actually a lot of my processes. I play a ton of games with my daughter. I mean, she comes home from school and we'll just set up a game we both know how to play, and or her friends come over after school and we'll play it. But I mean, as far as an official board game night with the boys, I mean, that just doesn't really happen that often. I get invited to a lot, and then that's weird too, because it's oh, hey, the professionals here to play board games. I'm oh, geez, just shut up. Can we just play? Just leave me alone. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still love board games. I just I'm definitely. There's a lot of stuff going on with it, though. Right now, I'm writing Kickstarter pages. It's just so it's oh, it's just this is my job now. This is what I do, and I've said that before. It's a different world.
It's as with anything. The more you do it, the less special it is anymore.
Disagree. I can think of a lot of things that don't fit in that.
It's just the fun of sitting down and cracking open a new board game used to be the best thing in the world, and now it's just oh God, I got another game I gotta punch and sleeve and throw on a shelf and collect dust. It's just
yeah.
My camera just died. Hold on, I'll be right back.
I think it's been gone for a while.
Yeah, you've been a big gaping black maw for a while.
Drop off?
Tina dropped off.
Yeah, she had to go.
Oh,
She said in chat she was going.
Speaking of which,
I mean, I've gone through ebbs and flows of this thing. I mean, there was when I first started BGG, there was a year where I didn't even look at it. I had it running in my house.
We can tell.
Under my desk. I think it was 04, 03, 04. I didn't even look at it. I just made sure it was on.
Wow.
It was weird.
I
good
go
Maybe about 5 years in. I really started playing our games in 98, 97.
I've been going through a lot of waves lately, but I think it's just life in general is some things. But I find I hit a cycle the past couple of years that coincides with convention seasons for some reason. So I'll start getting really excited as Origin approaches, and I'm good and excited through Gen Con, and then after Gen Con, I just kind of go blah.
That's funny because it's exactly the opposite for me.
And then I spike at BGG Con, and I start getting excited.
I completely lose interest for board gaming once I get past Gamma, and I don't get reinvigorated to sit down and play with people until right around now, which is when I'm done with all of my trade shows and Gen Con and I'm done traveling for the year, and I can actually sit and plan, hey, let's do a board game night in 2 weeks. Let's do a board game night next month on this date. And that's when I get excited. During the convention season, I'm so busy with work stuff around board gaming that I don't really have time or want the desire to actually play games.
Well, that's where I'm different. I'm not working at the board game convention. I'm there to have fun.
Yeah.
So for me,
I forgot what that's like.
that's my excitement to go see you assholes, right? I get to see you in person and go visit with you and hang out and do stuff. And I worked at Gen Con this year, but that wasn't real work. So I was having a good time because my real work stuff sucks.
Do
Yeah.
you think
Pharmaceuticals is not fun.
Well,
Hey, Pete,
depends. Yeah.
Pete, keep your phone close.
Uh oh. Okay.
So, do you think it has something to do with some of the drama that goes on lately in the industry?
No,
That sucks a little bit out of your life.
No, I mean that does, but that's more of just an industry feeling, not a board game feeling. For me, it's just I work with.
Sometimes these board games are associated with some of these.
Well, true, but I mean I'm constantly playing games from the company to make sure I learn them, so I know how to sell them. I know how to work them at conventions. I'm doing board games with Richard, not the Richard here, but my business partner Richard. Games that we're designing. So I'm constantly running playtests for that. It's just by the time
Enjoy that.
I enjoy that part, but that's because it's something I'm helping create and it's something that's going to pay me back. It's just like work. I'm working.
It's also the person you're playing with too.
Sure. But when I go to just play XYZ game from whatever company, it's like my brain turns off because it's like, this is not work. This is not profitable. This is just fun. I could be doing so many other things with this time because I spend so much time working around board games already. So for me, it's just like, I want to get on my Xbox or I want to get on my PC and just blow some stuff up. And it takes my mind away from it all. And I found myself gravitating back into video games more in this last year than I ever had in the previous like 5 or 6. Video games were almost non-existent for me when I first got into the industry because I just was absorbing so much board game stuff. And now I look forward to my evenings of sitting in front of my Xbox to get away from the board gaming just so that I can refocus for the next day.
What does that mean for your long-term lifespan at CMON then? I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I assume you're a full-time CMON employee, right?
Yeah, I am.
Is there an issue with your career ruining your favorite hobby in life, and does one go before the other? I mean, do you think you'll get to a point where, I've been at CMON for 20 years. I haven't played a board game for 15.
No, I don't know if it'll ruin it because I think what it's done is it's just reprioritized my hobbies because I have a lot of hobbies. So that's never been an issue of finding something to do. But what it did is where it was for a long time, it was board gaming and then video gaming. Now it's just kind of reversed those because I do so much board gaming as part of my job now with the company and on my personal stuff that I'm doing design wise that I get that itch gets scratched. So when it comes to just playing for fun, I'd rather go hang out with my friends online and play Madden or shoot stuff or whatever. So it's not destroyed the hobby because like I said, I do get reinvigorated for board gaming after convention season is over and stuff towards the end of the year when I'm actually have the time to do some game nights once in a while, but it's definitely detracted and it's definitely not my number one hobby anymore. It's definitely number 2 right now for my free time. Just because I need the break. I need to turn off the head from dissecting mechanics and just sit and do mindless fun stuff.
Yeah. I mean, several different publishers have talked to me over the years about, hey, you made video games for 20 years. You were pretty good at it. You want to come work here? You like board games, right? And I've always said no, just because I enjoy this too much and I know what being in the industry did to me to kill my enthusiasm for video games, which I've been playing since the 70s and loving to pieces. But and I don't want that to happen because for me, board games are so important more than anything else for the sole reason that they're something I can share with my wife. And that's what keeps me coming back to the table is sharing the experience with her. And I just don't want to mess with that.
And that won't happen for me either because my wife will play a board game with me occasionally, but she doesn't play video games at all. So that I think that's why board gaming will never go away for me because it is a big part of my life because it's my main source of income. But the video games for me is just kind of like that's my chill blow off steam kind of thing. Where it used to be board games 24/7, I've learned now that if I do that, I will burn out and not want to play them again. So I've kind of mentally just made sure that when 5, 6 o'clock rolls around, the board gaming stuff gets put aside, and then I kind of focus on other stuff to keep me busy. Balance is good. and I'm glad that I do it now. I mean, because I think that if you overindulge in anything, eventually you're gonna burn out in it. So by splitting up a little bit.
So beware, Anthony. That is your future. What have you done?
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. It's the
I'm in a lucky spot where I'm not really in the board game industry, except I am.
Yeah.
Like I don't make games.
You are the game.
You sell games.
I mean, but I was a video game developer too, and it
Pretty
sucks.
easy
You
not
would
to
play a
get burnt
game.
out when you're the $87 million man.
You can pay people to burn out for you.
I mean,
Yes.
we
Here's $1,000. Go be built out in the hobby for me.
Aldi, you said before.
Yes, go ahead.
You were on a big slump. You didn't even look at your site while you were running.
I was working on Duke Nukem.
And well, what brought you back? What took you out? What brought you back?
I don't know. I guess it was like the other work, right? Like when I had other work affecting that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of like, I gotta work. I gotta get the video game done. We want to ship this game. And I guess it was more. That's kind of a different because I wasn't playing board games. I don't know. I was playing. It was really never.
You weren't an addict at that point, even though you had made a website. You were still dabbling.
Yeah.
You didn't define yourself as a board game fan, like
I think I was taking
probably
time.
do now.
Yeah, it was a weird. It was just a weird time.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I first met Michelle too.
Does Michelle play games?
Girls.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Not as avidly as some of us, but she plays. No, but I mean, like when we worked in the video game industry, I could not play a game without being like, oh, what is so special about this game? You know, and break it down and be like, oh, I know how they did that. No, they did that.
Yeah, nothing is worse than a new hot game coming out and somebody went out and got it at lunch and bring it back in, and we're all gonna hunker around the TV and watch it, and it's just 2 hours of everybody ripping it to shreds.
Yeah,
because nobody can enjoy anything anymore.
Or feeling very like demoralized.
Yeah, exactly.
Did I tell you my Half-Life story?
What's that?
Did I tell you my Half-Life story?
Oh no, but I can imagine.
I can tell it in 2 minutes. I had just gotten in the video game industry. I'd worked in the 3D graphics industry.
Wait, hold on.
Wait a minute, Lance. Let him talk. That's like 18 minutes quicker than your stories.
Shut up. Hold on. And go.
Bye, Rob.
Bye, Rob.
All right.
Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you so
Are
much.
we on time limits now?
Well, you said you tell it in 2 minutes. I want to see. Go.
So I had just gotten my job in the game industry. I worked on Sin from Ritual Games back in the 90s. I worked 10-hour days, 6 days a week. It was rough. It was crunch time times 10. And it was like I felt really proud of the game. We had put the demo out, got huge reactions from the internet. Then we just hear about this game called Half-Life, and they released this thing called Half-Life Day 1, which was the first quarter of the game, I think, released as a demo to if you had subscribed to PC Gamer or something like that. So we got a copy and we did what we did. We played the game, we watched it, we all sat there and watched it, played it, and we're all just like, fuck my life.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What the fuck? We're dead. We're dead.
Yeah.
That was the worst. That was the worst feeling in my life.
Were you working on Sin then?
Yeah, it was Sin.
Yeah, I totally, because you're
all
about all that interactivity and look what they were doing.
Yeah,
I had the same thing happen when we were on Siphon Filter. We were on Siphon Filter. We had busted our ass for whatever it was, 18 months. Went to E3 for the first time, took our demo, really didn't get that much attention. But that was the first year that Konami put a Metal Gear Solid video up on those big Jumbotrons. The first time anybody had ever seen anything like it. And we were just looking at we just knew we were dead because everything we were doing, they were doing 10 times better. And it was a death march after that, going back and just doing whatever we could. And, fortunately it worked out that because we were different enough from them that everybody said, oh, I thought this was going to be a Metal Gear clone, but it's not. How surprising. It probably worked in our favor because we, upset expectations. But yeah, that was deepest pit of despair. While everybody else at E3 was, hooting and hollering and shouting and applauding, I was just sinking into a dark hole.
Yeah,
It's a
watching
shame
that
that
video.
both in the
you
same spot.
burned out of video games though, because it's really a golden age of great titles coming out this year.
I know.
It's been,
It's totally different though. It's like these teams of like 100 to 200 people.
yeah.
Whereas
yeah.
I was in a team of 16, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, just Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out in a couple weeks is just
Yeah.
blowing
No, I mean,
everyone away.
believe me, I'm a video gamer too. I mean, I love it,
Yeah.
and not having to worry about how to make them.
Yeah.
It's definitely the hardest job I ever had.
But Richard, what about Brink?
What about it? I'm incredibly proud of Brink. Brink, I think, is the best game I've ever made. And sorry, I can go blue. Bethesda fucked us in the ass on that. Oh, sorry, you're not internal. You're not making a Morrowind knockoff. Then nothing. Get no support. Actually, that's not true. Their marketing department was great. Pete and those guys and girls, they did fantastic. But oh man, they just destroyed us. That game, for 2 years of development, we were winning. We have won so many awards for all the convention shows. We had people waiting 3-4 hours to get a chance to play for 15 minutes and then turning right around and doing it again. But when we launched, the Bethesda QA department had not found any of the network stability issues that we had no idea were plaguing us, and we just sank like a stone because day one no one could play, and day two no one could play. Week 2 you could play, and it was too late. The word was out. It was it was DOA. Broke my heart.
Yeah, we had a killer bug like that too because Activision never installed the game from CD.
Wow. Yeah,
They basically played it. They played the build from the source. Like you never installed the CD. So. Yep.
Hey Richard, did you come up with the taser that set people on fire?
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
It was. We were a very small team, like Aldi was talking about. I think we were 12 people on that. It was an iterative process. I knew it was unusual at the time for games to have finite amounts of ammo. I mean, it was your pistol has infinite ammo, a la Doom. That was just the way it's supposed to be. I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. Your pistol has finite ammo too. We need to have some kind of weapon. And we were just going to do a knife. We could never make it work. And like, well, and so it was my idea to say, well, how about a taser? And we'll cheat a little bit and say it can retract. It's ridiculous, but what the heck? Let's do that. And once it was in, it just kind of you couldn't see if you were hitting somebody because they were so far away. So let's just put a smoke effect on them, and because you'll be able to see that. And you still can't see it. Okay, let's do the camera cut so you can see it up close. And then it wasn't my idea, but somebody said, well, wouldn't it be funny if we turn that smoke into fire? And so they just did that for a joke, and we all laughed, and we said, okay, we have to do this. It has to stay this way. And so we retroactively turned it into kind of a gameplay mechanism. But yeah, it was just one of those iterative processes. It was born out of a need that we had from the design.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Didn't you work on Fable also?
I worked on Fable 2. I was, what was my title? Design director on that one.
I love the Fable series.
That was such a good game.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you.
I loved the Fable 1, 2, and 3. I miss those games.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll recapture it. I don't know how they can with the new one that they're working on from, I forget, those guys who do racing games up north England. I mean, if they don't have Dean Carter on board, they do not have the soul and spirit of Fable. I'm sure they can do a reasonable facsimile. Let's just do. We're British. We can do quirky British humor, but it won't be the same without Dean. He's just brilliant. And of course, I'm not going to be there either. So how could it possibly be the same?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to try a game. I just got back from Kickstarter. I got Bard's Tale 4 yesterday that I backed on Kickstarter because nostalgia, right? And I'm afraid it's just not going to live up to it because it rarely does. Wasteland did good living up to nostalgia with Wasteland 2, but
love the original Wasteland game.
The original Wasteland.
Did you guys have the one where you had to look at the paragraphs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, man. Freaking the Scorpitron or whatever it's called back in the day. That thing was a piece of. Oh, I hated it.
Bard's Tale 1 was such like an amazing game for me and all my friends in junior high. Like we would go to school. It would be the only game we'd talk about. We'd share our maps that we made because that was before you could map. We would get our graph paper out. We mapped each dungeon. We mapped the entire city. like just all things like that. And I can remember like either riding bike or walking home from school, and I was just like, all I could think of was how great it was going to be when I got home and I was going to be able to play Bardstale again. I would just be like in glee, just like, oh, I'm almost home, and I get to play Bardstale on my Commodore 64 as soon as I get home. I remember getting up in my room and just being so happy, like loading that game up. Such a good game.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Almost as good as Tunnels of Doom.
Thank you for finding that for me.
I know. I couldn't believe when I heard you describing it. It's like I instantly knew what it was because that was such a big part of my childhood.
Yeah, because it was a weird game that like I ended up in Belfort, North Dakota. Like I was there with my dad and his wife and like his wife's family and this farm, and her younger brother. I can't remember what computer he had. It was like I think it was a
Texas Instruments 99-4A.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he had this Texas Instruments computer, and he had this game called Tunnels of Doom, and I had to run it off of if I remember correctly, I ran it off a tape.
Yes, like it was off a cassette. Yeah,
it was a cassette, and I remember playing that like that entire weekend. Like my entire weekend was saved because of that game. I was so bored sitting on this like farm in the middle of winter. Like there wasn't even like, oh, you can go wander around and go play on like the tractors and stuff. No, it's middle of winter. It's cold. There's nothing to do here except stay inside. And like, they didn't even like they owned like 2 TVs, but they didn't have anything. Like they were so far out of town that you could barely pick up any television. So luckily enough, they let me use one of the TVs for that Texas Instruments computer. And I remember because I brought my D&D books with me, and then because he saw my D&D books, and he said, "Oh, I think I have a game you might like." And yeah, it was cool. Just what a weird game too. He had and I remember like it had tactical combat. That was one of the things I loved about it. It wasn't like, oh, attack, defend. It was like you actually moved your people in the dungeon to attack, which was something I had never done before. Yeah, Tunnels of Doom. Great stuff.
Never played that one. I played Telengard off a cassette way back when on the
Telengard.
And then we used to go to the library. We'd get games on disc when we didn't even have computers yet, but the library had computers. I'd go in there and play Planetfall and Zork and a couple others and buy the games.
Space Taxi.
It was awesome.
Space Taxi. Yeah.
Yeah, I played Space Taxi at the library all the time. Good old days.
That's when games were fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, games are still fun now.
Games are still fun. I'm playing games again right now.
If you go back and play those old games, though, they don't hold my interest for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're like 2
only
seconds
the like
in.
just pure classics. Like
Yeah,
I could still play Burger Time all night long and still enjoy it. I don't know why. Dig Dug.
Games I can play. Yeah, but like the old computer games that we would play.
Yeah. No, other than I will say the Sam and Max games still to me are fun to play, and I always loved like the Maniac Mansion stuff. The
Maniac Mansion.
Almost everything LucasArts did in like the late 80s, early 90s. I can play those games no matter how old they get.
They
was
are
it Full
fantastic.
Throttle? I played Full Throttle just the other day. I've got it on my arcade cabinet, and
I've got Day of the Tentacle installed
Day
on
of the
this
Tentacle?
computer right here.
I've got Day of the
Because
Tentacle
it
on
was
as well.
remastered.
Full Throttle is really good. But think of how ahead of its time.
By the way,
Maniac Mansion.
Tim Schafer at BGG Con. I got to meet him.
What now?
Tim Schafer.
Schafer.
Ghost.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
at BGG Con.
What about Tim
He's
Schafer?
you have a special guest this year, Tim Schafer.
Tim Schafer is the special one.
Oh, that's right, because he did a board game, didn't he? Or
Well, he's been starting to get into board games. I don't think he's
Yeah.
made a board game.
yeah, okay.
What did Tim
We had
Schafer
We
design?
had some video game people last year. We had
Games that you just mentioned.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
Battle?
Tim Schafer is Mr. LucasArts, basically.
Yeah,
And
he's
he's-
just coming.
From LucasArts was Tim Schafer. Grim
Oh, nice.
Fandango.
Grim Fandango.
Yeah.
I never played that one. I missed that.
I like the Dig. The Dig was really good.
Never played.
Fate of
that.
Atlantis. Oh, yeah.
Fate of Atlantis. That was probably
Oh my god, that was so good.
one of the better ones.
Actually, that was one of the best Indiana Jones movies.
It was.
the Fate of Atlanta. Yeah, that was.
It was certainly better than Crystal Skull.
I mean, if they had made that game into a movie, just using that as a script, it would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
It had really good writing.
What was it? No, I was talking about Maniac Mansion. Like, which 3 characters did you take to beat it?
You always have to have Bernard. Bernard is
Bernard
required.
definitely.
Bernard was the guy, but who were the other 2 that you took to?
It would be, I played it with every combination I could think of with my young brain.
Yeah.
I like the Rocker Girl. Bernard,
Rocker Girl and the Nerd. Those are the 2 I would always take.
Bernard always. I like Surfer Dude because he was
Surfer Dude
all
had
right.
had some good lines.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever beat it.
You never beat it?
Oh my god! I played through so many.
I know I beat it
hard
when it was first out, but I
remember.
recently I never had enough time
because
to
it
play
had
through.
like a timer, didn't it? I mean,
Yeah. You couldn't
which was
waste
very
time.
unusual for those kinds of things. Yeah, where you could just
Yeah.
spend all forever. Yeah.
Well, it had a progression, like, so certain things would happen after a certain amount of time gone by, and if you hadn't done certain things, it would,
And you could die so often.
like if you remember how you'd like play the music tape for the Tentacle to like be part of his rock band or whatever, but there was that one tape that had it had some weird like mating song or something of like the Tentacle world or something like that, and then if he heard it, he freaked out and he killed the person that he was in the room with.
Or you kill Ed's hamster while he's in the room.
True. I like the old Infocom games, the text-based ones. Those are the ones I enjoyed. If you played those,
I played Zork for like a year.
Yeah.
That's without cheats, but before the internet, when you couldn't look things up.
Yeah,
You had to, like,
I can remember.
try to beat it.
I can remember. I actually beat Zork on my own through like me and another guy playing it, and we sussed it out. But I was at like this department store in the middle of nowhere, and I was with my dad. And this book is somewhere in my parents' basement somewhere, but it was a book, and it was like, and it was so weird too because it was actually like behind a glass cage, like it was in like the computer area. Because whenever we went to a department store that had computers, I'd go back there and look at the games, and in this glass case there was this book, and it was all the because I had almost all of those games, all the Infocom games, and it said like how to beat the Infocom games or whatever. It was like something that had a wizard on the front and all this stuff like that. I remember I saw it and I was just like, I need that book. And there was like only one, and it was sitting behind this glass case. I wanted to like take it and like look through it, and you couldn't even look through it. And I remember I begged my dad to like buy it for me. He's like, I'm not gonna buy you that book. It's like $11. He thought it was just like ridiculous to buy it. So then my parents were divorced. So then he took me home. Like I waited all weekend. I got home and I went to my mom, and I was like, Mom, you gotta take me. It was LaBelle's department store. If you ever had a LaBelle's near you. And it was like, you gotta take me to LaBelle's. I was so certain somebody had bought the book, right? But no, it was still sitting there. And then she said, can you take that book out? My son wants to buy it. And I was just like, I remember racing home and like being able to finally beat Deadline, which was like the murder mystery game, which was like another time thing where if you weren't in certain spots at certain times, like you couldn't solve the mystery. I remember being very even though I cheated technically, but I was very satisfied when I won. I was like, thank you. Just that game was so tough.
Yeah. I have no stories about Infocom games other than the fact that my first boss in the video game industry was Mark Blank, who was the creator of Zork.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah. I wish I had some stories to tell you about the behind the scenes, because he told me a bunch of them. And unlike you, Lance, I do not have an ironclad memory, and I can't remember all this stuff. I'm very sorry, because they were good. Yeah, good stories.
You remember stuff. I mean, you remember stuff. It's just not the stuff that stuff, right? So
other stuff.
You got to write your memoirs. There's like some tricks you can do to like dig up the old memories.
Oh, really?
My father-in-law's writing his memoir, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's all these things I'm learning about how to dredge up the memories. There's all these like things you can. I don't know what they are, but apparently there's some things you can start deep diving into your memory."
Well,
guys, I gotta run.
All
See
right,
y'all.
see you all day. Good
Yeah,
night.
Come
We
back
gotta
next
do
week and tell us what the secrets are.
Are we
Yes.
doing an Eston thing? We probably need to do it like multiple parts because I think there's gonna be like
No, it's gonna be a marathon. We're gonna do everything.
all at
I'm
once.
so
Oh my
far
God,
behind
so
on
many.
that list.
Just let me know what week that is.
I need a mule. Are you gonna be
So
the
you don't
mule?
show up?
Yeah.
If I actually
I
look at
saw
the
that
list, I'm
coming.
gonna want games,
Say
and
again.
I'm not going to Essen. If I look at the list, I'm gonna want games, and then I can't go to
You gotta
Essen.
get
so I
ready to
don't
what to
want
play
games.
at BGGCon.
That's true.
And see,
That's the thing.
and that's the thing. And since I've been kind of out of touch for the last month with everything going on, I feel lost.
Hmm.
It doesn't
Ignorance
take
is
long.
bliss.
There's
We'll bring you
50
back
games
into the fold, man. We'll bring you back into the fold.
I haven't even played all my games from Gen
Guys,
Con.
I've got to run. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Run.
Bye,
All right,
Aldi.
see you later.
Aldi. Adelaide, run.
Hey, Seth's in the audience.
Hello, Seth.
So yeah, there's that then. Man, the other games. I'm trying to think of other games I played when
I remember there was a really cool game that came out. It was probably in the very late '90s called the Superhero League of Hoboken. It was like one of the funniest video games I ever played. It was
I saw that.
It was like a text-based game. I wish I could find a copy of that. That's one game I've been wanting to play for a long time, and I just can't find it anywhere.
I remember being, high school and seeing Leisure Suit Larry for the first time.
I love Leisure Suit Larry
I
games.
was like,
So
this
here,
is
let
the
me-
coolest thing ever.
Let me tell you this. So Leisure Suit Larry, right? So there was actually a text adventure prior to Leisure Suit Larry. It was called like Porn Something Adventure or something like that. And like a couple of my friends, of course, had gotten a hold of
I'm sure
the
your
discs
friends.
for it. Yeah, no, they got just like they're like, yeah, it's like a text adventure, but like the goal is you got to have sex with 3 women. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get this game because I was like, whatever, I was 12 and nothing but a ball of hormones. And so,
Like no.
yeah, no. Anyway, so no, I remember getting it and being able to, and I had to it was an Apple game. So I had to use my dad's computer. So I went to my dad's house. I would play it late at night so he wouldn't catch me playing it, because it was such a dirty game. But that was and I remember when I played Leisure Suit Larry, I was like, holy crap, this is exactly the the game. They literally they ported that old text game to Leisure Suit Larry, basically the plot of it. And then they just give it graphics. How many Leisure Suit Larrys were there? There were 10, weren't there?
Yeah, there was a lot. I know at least 8 or 9.
7. Because I'm looking at the collection right now. There's one, Land of the Lounge Lizards, Looking for Love in Several Wrong Places, Passionate Patty in Pursuit of the Pulsating Pectorals. 4 is not listed here. 5 is Passionate Patty Does a Little Undercover Work. 6, Shape Up or Slip Out. And 7 is Love for Sale, SAIL. And there's also Leisure Suit Larry Magnum Cum Laude, uncut and uncensored.
So this was it was called Soft Porn Adventure.
Yeah, Apple II, 1981, from Online Systems.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys ever play the Freedom Force games?
Yeah,
I did. Those are really, really good.
Superhero games, yeah.
Yeah, the first one was great. That was one of the first games I ever played where you could actually get customized stuff putting into your game. People were creating skins for Marvel and DC characters for that game. Yep. That was my first introduction to modding.
Oh, do you guys we're now going backwards again, but did any of you ever play Raid on Bungling Bay?
No.
Remember the Bungling Bay? Because there was
that was a shmup, right? Scrolling shoot 'em up.
Well, you were a helicopter that flew around and you got to shoot things. Mm-hmm. But it was from top down. There was 2 things about that I loved. Was that so the whole point is that your helicopter had to fly to these I think it was 4 or 5 different islands, and you had to destroy the factories that were on the islands. Because if you could destroy the factories, that meant that the Bungling Bay, the evil empire wouldn't have the industry to make war with you. So you had an aircraft carrier that you could go and you'd land on. It would repair you and refuel you and put give back your bombs because you had like a certain number of bombs you carried, and then you fly away. And that moved, which was like something that was like it slowly moved. It created the game, like the factories. The more factories you destroyed, like the faster they built this battleship that eventually would launch, and you had to like go and sink that before it could destroy your aircraft carrier. And then, but if you destroyed all of the factories and like there was more and more things trying to shoot you down, like as you played, you had 5 helicopters. So if you beat the game, it gave you a newspaper clipping. And it said, and then depending upon the number of helicopters that got destroyed, they're like, oh, 3 brave helicopter pilots gave their lives or whatever, depending upon how many. When you got shot, when you were going down, you were able to direct your helicopter slightly. You know, it fought against you, and if you could land on something, or you would destroy the thing you landed on. If you destroyed the last factory by your last helicopter, and I did it once. The newspaper script was actually like, you know, it was in memoriam, like it had like statues of the five pilots, and they talked about how the last pilot heroically smashed his helicopter into the factory. I was like, how cool is that? What game does that? It was now, of course, it's commonplace, but at the time I was like, you know, first I couldn't believe that I did it, and I was like, holy cow. And then there was like, instead of like jubilant music playing, it was like this sad, somber music, you know. I was like, that was really cool. It was one of my favorite games of all time. Anyway, talking about old school video games today. Everybody played Wizardry, right?
At some point, but not the early ones.
I remember really enjoying the original Wizardry. And then, of course, that was like one of the first games that had like the cheat program. Like you could, because there was the class that had the bishop, and the bishop could identify magic items that you found. But if you tried to identify and you identified like a weird letter or number, like it would give your party 1,000,000 gold, or it was like little cheats that the designers had put in to test things in the game. So it was like, if you identify Z, it gave everybody 1,000,000 experience points. So like everybody had a lot of fun with it until we found out about those cheats, and of course then the game wasn't fun anymore because that's what nobody was willing to play it for real after that because they just wanted to level everybody up. Anybody else got any old school video games?
Pong was awesome.
What?
Pong. Awesome.
Pong. Oh, jeez.
No, Pong is actually pretty important. I mean,
well, of course it is. But that's
Pong.
That's Anthony taking a piss right now.
In the early 70s, we had a Pong machine. I think it was from Sears because every department store had their own licensed Pong machine. And I remember it was a really big watershed moment for me because as a young boy, I must have been 4 or at the time, it was the first thing in my life I was better at than my dad. Because my dad was a god. He could do anything. And I was just a dumb kid, but I could completely destroy him at Pong. And I remember how empowering that was. So yeah, Pong. I remember Pong.
I had the Odyssey Pong machine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Odyssey.
This is you're thinking of the Odyssey 2.
No, I had an Odyssey 2. I still have it.
You still have your Odyssey 2?
But
I'm so jealous of those. I wanted that keyboard.
Our Pong console thing that played Pong was Odyssey.
Yeah, it was the original Odyssey, and then the Odyssey 2 is what Lance is thinking of, that cartridge machine with the Mylar overlays you could put on the keyboard and all of that.
And the cartridge used to heat up.
Oh, really?
You could only play it for so long, but the cartridge used to get like red hot.
Wow, I had no idea.
And the game would just stop.
I remember the old Commodore 64 disk drives were like they overheated all the time and would melt the circuits inside. So like you would have to like either you have to like unplug them and like or you have to have a fan right on them.
You put a fan on it.
Yeah. They actually sold these little fans that went around it to like circulate the air faster inside of it. But yeah, I can remember I had multiple disk drives on my Commodore 64 crap out on me. But my mom was the expert in returning everything, so she just returned it to the store and get a new one.
Yeah, you'd play the Odyssey 2 for a few hours, the same game, and then you'd smell it. You'd smell it heating up, and then you'd take it out, and then you'd see like, because it had not just like the key card slot thing, it had like this white thing that went over it, as like a piece of Teflon or something to make it slide in and out easier.
Oh, wow.
On one side, and that would like change color because it was heating up.
So Ultima 4 was one of the best games. Like,
oh God, yes,
was so good. But on the Commodore 64, so like Commodore 64, like I think Ultima 4 came with like 6 discs as far as like where you're going. Like there was the Dungeon Disc 1 and Dungeon Disc 2, and there was the City Disc, and there was like this disc and that disc, and so on and so forth. So it would tell you to put disc whatever in, and then put side 2. It would tell you which disc to put in. I used to hate going to Lord British's castle because the old 1541 disc drive for Commodore 64 was so slow. Like it would like, okay, so you enter the castle, and then it would say, all right, insert disc 1 or insert castle disc 1. And so you insert castle disc 1, and then it would take, like forever. I mean, I'm sure it was like 5 minutes, but it might as well have been an eon. And then it was like, so then it would finally load, and then you'd go down to like there's a stairs that went up, and you went to the second floor. It would say insert castle disc 2, and that would be like another 7-minute wait while you wait for this thing to be done. And you just so you could go talk to Lord British to see if you leveled up, because that was the only way that's the only way you could level up is if you went to talk to Lord British. And it would just like, so then you go talk to Lord British. And then you'd have a conversation with him, and he'd be like, "Oh," and like, you could do all the things. But yeah, it was like going to the castle was like a half hour, just for different discs and everything else you wanted to do. Used to hate it, but also really, really good game.
Richard had to leave.
What?
Richard had to leave.
Oh, that's too bad. That's fine.
He's like, I don't want to interrupt, so I'm going to go.
That's fine. By the way, has anybody play any board games lately?
Well, but before we do that, I have a question for you.
Oh,
this makes sense. So, Kickstarter launched yesterday, I think, from Impact Miniatures, and it's called maybe it was today. It's called the Lost Kickstarter Mini Project. So basically, what it appears they did was they went and found these projects, these miniature projects that never actually happened, and they contacted the people who are running them and got their STL files. So they're going to produce miniatures for these games, and one of them is Torn Armor.
Really?
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. It says in the Kickstarter thing that they have all the files for Torn Armor. There's some examples of them there, and it says, we understand that people who back the project want the minis. It says we're going to work with you to get you the stuff at cost plus shipping, which I don't know how much that ends up coming out to be. And they're 3D printing them. They're not like they're making molds or anything for them.
No.
So here's the question. I mean, people paid $230 for Torn Armor and ended up getting a game without miniatures.
Which was like, why even bother? But
right,
okay.
But like, does anyone still have Torn Armor that they like? Oh, I get the miniatures now, because even at cost, it's going to cost you a couple $100 probably.
Well, at least it's out there.
Right, but here's the thing, and right now they had a $500 goal. They have like almost $3,000. They have some other miniatures on there too. But like, wouldn't it make more sense for something like that to say, look, we own the rights to the STL files now. Let's just sell the STL files like everyone else does with their 3D, printed projects on Kickstarter. I think they probably get more money and sell more things to say, look, $60 and we'll give you the files to make a copy, to print off for yourself. Like, you can't sell them, but for your own personal use, $60, per thing. I think they probably make more money doing that, and they don't have to do the work.
Maybe. But I mean, it's like, Seth, I sent it to your email. Seth's complaining because he didn't get one. I'll even check my sent mail. So maybe Seth needs to. Yeah, there he is. Sent to Seth. So that's fine. Check your spam folder there, Mr. Jaffe.
And to answer your original question, no, I haven't played anything.
That's unfortunate.
I haven't played anything that's released.
Oh, only your super secret stuff?
Oh, the stuff we're working on.
Oh, hooray! You found your email.
I actually did get it. It was my email box has a lot of stuff in it right now, so it was knocked down below the page.
Well, I'll expect a written apology for your slanderous and libelous comments.
Check the chat. You already got it.
How's Corbin?
Corbin's doing great. He's asleep.
I don't think "oh, I see it now" is an apology.
As close as you're gonna get, Lance.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
So it sounded like you were about to talk about board games.
Well, now that you're here, we can talk about video games. When was the last time you were on Board Game Arena and played Eminent Domain?
I've been, well, I kind of do turn-based. I don't play real time because I don't know when I'll be able to sit for that long, without having to stop and do something else. So I just play turn-based, and I just log in every once in a while and take my turns. It's hard to keep up. I've dropped to like 9th place in the Eminent Domain rankings. I just I'm just not playing as much as some of these guys. I don't know how they've got the time to.
Well, I spoke for you, and I posted pretty much. I'll take on all comers.
Yeah, that's funny. I liked it. And some of these guys, if you look at the top ranked players, they've played like 16 games and won 15 of them or something. And I'm gonna have a hard time keeping up with them because in the beginning when I started playing, I was like, I wasn't playing to win. I was looking for bugs and whatnot, and I wasn't caring. Plus, I was playing when I did play. I played against some of my friends who were like good, and so my record is not 15 and 16 or whatever. I played like 39 games and won like 20 of them or something. Actually, let me look. And so I'm gonna have a hard time keeping up with the players who have like won all the games they played except one and haven't played that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
It's kind of a bummer because it'd be kind of fun to be like the top of the list and have everyone be like gunning for you or something.
But now you're just wonderfully mediocre.
So I played 45 games on there of Eminent Domain, and I've got 32 victories. So that's 80%. But it's kind of funny. It's really cool as a premium member, you can look at stats. So if I look at my statistics for Eminent Domain, and it gives you your average. So like all my 45 games, this is my average number of turns it took, and how many points I got from trading, and how many points I got from planets, and how many times I called each roll on the average. And then it shows you all players' averages and then winners' averages. And that's fun because I can go look at my averages and compare them to like the winning players' averages. And if I want to, I can look at it like the top ranked player or whatever, and look at his averages and compare them to myself. And you can kind of see like whether a player prefers research roles or whether they play more colonized than warfare or vice versa. Or how often they do trading.
Research action.
Yeah,
just have fun, Seth. You got to always be checking stats.
Well, I mean, it's amusing because I don't usually have these stats available. This is really cool. This would have been awesome when I was playtesting. And when I was playtesting, I had to do like my own stats that were less sophisticated because I didn't want to take as much data. But this is pretty cool because I can look at hundreds of players and hundreds of games and see what the averages are. I'll be right back.
You bet.
Yeah, stats are interesting. But right now, I'm like making up playtest report sheets, and literally, I have things on there like, how many of this resource did you use?
Well, I mean, that's like, like I've always said, like people say, why don't you play more solo board games? And I'm just like, it's like, because I like having other people at the table to talk to while I'm doing returns, and also, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, if I'm gonna play a game by myself, I'll go play Civilization on my computer.
I love Civilization. Civ 6 is like amazing.
Yeah, that or I'll boot up old Masters of Orion 2 and I'll play.
I've got that also. We should play that. I've got all the Masters of Orion games and Civ 6.
Man, I mean, that most recent one, they really tried to go back to Mu 2, but it isn't the same.
Mu 2 is the best. I deleted all the other ones. I bought the bundle, and so I got all of them, and I only found myself playing Mu 2 anyway, so.
Mu 2 is... Man, it's so classic. It's weird that a game can come out like that and be so good. And then Microprose, they did another game, a turn-based one. Was it Masters of Magic? That was a great game too. You ever play Masters of Magic, Pete?
That one doesn't sound familiar. I played what's that? There was a game by Ubisoft, Heroes of Might Magic. I've played that, but not Masters of Magic.
No, like Masters of Magic, you got to like basically create your own wizard. And then, depending upon like the type of magic, the wizard you were, whether it was like it was very much Masters of Orion, but it was just like, oh, you're a wizard and you're doing wizardy things, and like basically you take over. It's kind of like Civilization as well. So it's like, oh, you form cities and like your cities are like of lizardmen or orcs or elves or dwarves, and then like each race had their own like special units, and it was tactical combat, and then heroes would show up that you could hire, and then the merchants would come by and sell you magic weapons. It was Masters of Magic. I spent hours of my life, I mean days, weeks probably of my life playing that game. Very, very classic old Microprose game, just like Masters of Orion. They should do a remake of Masters of Magic that isn't nearly as good as the old one, that makes me want to play the old one again. just like Mu 2 did for me. But yeah, there's that then. Mu 3 was a disappointment, Kabuki Kid. It was horrible. Mu 3 was just so bad. It's like they took everything that was great in Mu 2 and got rid of it and did something else.
Yeah.
They put Dancing Pirates in.
How awesome was that? So, oh no, you weren't there. Oh, never mind. You weren't there. Glenn Drover took me and Forrest, and yeah, you were there, Pete, and we were talking about the Pirates game. The Pirates.
Sid Meier's Pirates. Yep.
And yeah, Meir, whatever. And then like Glenn Drover, he's like, yeah. So he's like, he was on that group that made that game, and then the owner of the company said, you're putting in a dance part of the game. And then afterwards, he's like, yeah, I made a mistake. I remember there was a cheat program you could put into your like Sid Meier's Pirates game in like the like one of the files, like the DLL files or whatever. You could put it in, and it would just, whenever you went to the dance, it would just do it perfectly for you. You could just take your hands off the keyboard and walk away, and just like let the music play and just let your little Like you let your guy dance around the thing or whatever and do his thing.
I think an evening of hanging out playing Civilization, Moo 2, and Sid Meier's Pirates is probably like the perfect like retro gaming evening.
Yeah, I would agree. Sid Meier's Pirates is just so good. It's just so
it's
fun.
great.
Just everything about it is fantastic.
It's a shame there was no multiplayer on that, because if you could play and interact with other people voyaging the seas, that would just make it that much better.
Wasn't that what Sea of Plunder was supposed to be, or whatever
I think
it was?
so. I think so, but I don't
Did
think
that
it.
die? I thought it was like, is it still going? I'm sure it's still going, but I mean, there was like a ton of people talking about it and getting excited about it, and then now you don't hear anything about it anymore.
No, I think it's vaporware now.
The manual for Pirates was so good that I used it as a source for a paper I wrote in college as most of my information for a composition I wrote.
If I remember correctly, Glenn Drover did a lot of the writing for that.
Yeah, I
It
actually
was
will look
so
on the
good.
book and see if I see his name now, because I've got my copy right here.
Does that one have the good book, or is it?
I don't know.
Mine was like the 64 version or Amiga version.
Let me see.
That's a new version, so it's kind of lame.
There was another pirate game called
You're lame.
Cutthroats that was very good as well. It didn't get as much fanfare as the Pirates, but Cutthroats had large scale tactical combat and like
It's
like
got
kind of
the
like
map.
So
that
that
just
just
makes
Spiral
me
Bound
think
book.
of,
Is this the one you're
Yeah,
talking about,
the
Keith?
Spiral Bound book. Yeah.
Yep.
Mine was an
that
older,
just makes me
different.
think of the movie. What was it called? Oh my gosh, Cutthroat Island. Have you guys seen that?
Cutthroat Island. I've seen the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that makes me think of. You're talking about pirates and you're saying cutthroat and stuff. What did you guys think of that movie? I actually
Not
kind of
good.
liked it.
I thought it was kind of lame. I mean, and I like pirate movies.
You thought it was lame?
Yeah, I was just I couldn't buy into Gina Davis being this she mailed it in for that movie in my opinion as far as her acting. This cat is driving me crazy. God, leave me alone.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to take off, guys. So,
Keith,
good to see
you, bud.
Take care, Keith.
Take care.
Yeah, that
Talk to you
movie
later.
was pretty critically panned and basically ended a movie studio, almost ended the career of several big actors and put Hollywood off pirate movies for a decade. But I actually kind of like it.
It was, so what you're saying, it was a lovable mess or something like that?
I thought it was a great, fun escape. Sure, some of the acting was poor and Gina Davis's accent went in and out every other line, but it was a fun, adventure-y pirate movie. The score was like award-winning or something. Like it was great music. It had great action. It was totally fun escapism. It's what I think of when I think of a pirate adventure movie.
Well, nobody should tell anyone else what they should like, right? If you liked it, you liked it.
In fact, I mean, even I'm not going to say it's high art, but even as a mediocre movie that I happen to like, I was surprised to find how much damage it did, how bad it went over. Like it lost so much money, and it did put like the movie company like out of business or something like that, and it almost ended the careers of Gina Davis and I don't know, at least one other actor. I was reading about it because I don't know why I have it on DVD, and every once in a while I bust it out and watch it, and I'm like, this is still a fun movie. I don't know why people didn't dig it.
Anthony will know. Is Gina Davis the one that was on like an Olympic level archer as well?
Yes.
Yes, I thought that was like a cool factoid.
Of course,
She actually competed in the Olympics.
Yeah,
I
she
didn't know that.
Yeah, she's like Olympic level ability as an archer.
Why isn't there like a Robin Hood style movie with her as the main character?
Well, because now she's old, and the movie industry doesn't employ old women.
No one gives.
Why wasn't there one 30 years ago?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, she was in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney.
Oh, cool. I did not know that. Another relatively bad movie that I actually liked with Gina Davis in it, The Long Kiss Goodnight. You ever seen that?
That is a good movie. I like that one.
And it's got Samuel L. Jackson as well, I believe.
Yeah, and a bad movie that I liked that not many people did. like Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man with was it Mickey Rourke and who were the two guys? Don Johnson and I think Mickey Rourke were the two. It was like an action movie, and that was like really, really bad, but I really, really liked it. I liked it. And this cat is driving me crazy. What? Go find my daughter.
No, just want some attention.
Yeah,
Aw.
no.
Aw. I wish my cat would give me that kind of attention anymore. Actually, maybe not. That would be kind of annoying.
Yes, it is just supremely annoying. And she's like this because my daughter is sleeping upstairs, and this cat wants attention. She wants somebody in my daughter's bed to sleep next to, and I'm not going in there. So this is her attempt to convince me.
It's totally cute though.
just so annoying. So Wednesday nights, because I'm up late and I don't want to wake up my wife, I usually would just curl up on the couch, and then she's like, well, why don't I just have, Caleb, our son, I'll let him sleep in the bed and then you can sleep in his bed, so you don't sleep on a couch. And I was like, oh, that actually works. That's fine, whatever. And but now we're babysitting my niece's 2 dogs this week, and they sleep in Caleb's room, and Rylan, my daughter, was like, it's not fair that I don't get to sleep with those 2 dogs. So she's sleeping up there, and that's why this cat is laying on me, because she's not in her bed, and this cat does not want to go sleep someplace where there's these 2 big Australian cattle dogs.
Well, she doesn't get along with the dogs.
The dogs don't like her, and she doesn't like them. She'll walk in the room, and like they'll walk up to her, and then she just claws out, starts swiping. Doesn't appreciate them. I mean, she's looking at 2 creatures that can eat her, so I guess I can understand her not liking them.
I have a big correction. She didn't actually make the Olympic team. She made it to the Olympic trials, but did not make the team.
Hey, John Rod, I need your address. I got my game back from the guy who borrowed it, so I can send it to you.
Weren't you going to the post office last week?
Yeah, but I didn't have the game. I was like, I knew one guy had it, and I kept on hammering on him. He finally dropped it off yesterday. So I'll put it in the mail. But I can't find your address. I don't know how you sent it to me. I think it was like text. I couldn't find it anywhere. So
right now.
Just email it to me or Facebook message it to me or something, so I have it, and then
Currently in your inbox.
Then I'll put it in the priority mailbox and send it off your way.
Yeah, do a medium flat rate. I'll reimburse you.
I know you will. Well, I know you better will. Anyway. What do you think about launching that Kickstarter, dude?
Mine?
Yes. No.
I already said launching, so it was like 10 days ago. It's going okay. It's not blowing things out of the water quite like I expected for all the cool options.
Wait a minute, you already launched it? Or I'm talking about the King's Armory one.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about the dice.
Well, you can talk about your dice here in a second, but when are you thinking about doing the King's Armory one?
I want to do it next month, actually. I want to do it in October.
All right.
On the 5-year anniversary of the first campaign.
I got you.
So, I mean, we might miss that. I don't want to, because that would probably bump it to like mid-January at that point. But I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Perfect. Thanks. I just needed to have an idea of when I have to do the video.
Yeah, it's kind of. I'm sorry.
So anyway, talk to us about your dice Kickstarter, John.
Can do. So I'm excited because I just got home from class, and we just broke 30,000, which is a stretch goal. So
John, you're like school on a Saturday. No
class.
Hey man, you asked me. I'm excited. What's classless about?
I heard you say class, and I just remembered that. You're like school on a Saturday. No class.
Good.
Anyway.
Well, before he gets into his thing, I'm got to get to bed. I got to get up early. I don't want to interrupt him, so I'm gonna say adieu. And
good night, Peter.
Good night, everyone, and everyone go back John's Kickstarter because I'm sure it's amazing.
Thank you, Pete.
All righty, good night, guys.
I might disappear in a few minutes too, but I won't make a big scene because I want to interrupt either. So,
all right.
Oh, I didn't notice that Keith actually mentioned my Teotihuacan or whatever. That game is awesome. I wanted to say that is a really good game.
I totally want to play that game. That looks like fun.
Yeah.
Did you play it once?
Yeah, I actually would. We were talking about. I was just my mind blanking. I've just been. Well, I mean, I've just been working. I've gotten like a total of probably 10 hours of sleep in the last 3 days, and plus I was at. Well, yeah, it's been great. Plus, I was at the doctor all day today for my checkup, which was super. But anyway,
Did he tell you were fat again?
No. See, that's like my care doctor. So like I go in, but no, he was like, you got to get a family doctor. He's like, it's like I'm willing to take your money, but just to save yourself some money, you need to find a. So he actually recommended me this guy, and the guy's super nice, but yeah, he was so I got to go and get piss in this and take blood out here and bend over and cough, the whole 9 yards and.
Bend over and cough. That's not usually.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. Kick the tires, check the mileage.
Sure.
All right. I'm in. Once again, I got you're in surprisingly good health. You could have taken the surprisingly. Okay, just like. Just like. Yeah, your blood pressure's great. You mean your cholesterol's awesome. I mean, the thyroid thing is like weird, but I mean, other than that, yeah, it's like, well, sorry to disappoint, I guess. But no, anyway, no, it's been rough. But anyway, last weekend, a guy that used to live a couple doors down from me, who is a big board game guy, because he lived a couple doors down from me and he played a lot of board games with me. He moved, but he has a game night. He invited me to it, and I brought Teotihuacan or whatever, how you're going to pronounce it. I'm sure Anthony. What?
Teotihuacan.
Tuacan. And then.
That's not accurate.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that game, and I went and we played it, and we had a great deal of fun. Because I read the rules like a couple times before I went, so I had a pretty good idea how to suss it out instead of, I always love when you go to BGG and they have the brand new games, and then you walk by, you'll see at least a dozen tables of like 3 people looking bored and 1 person with the rule book and their nose just buried in it, like trying to read it. The other 3 people are like, like stacking cubes, looking at their phone. I always feel bad, but there's got to be a first time you play every game, right? And you don't always have somebody that can teach you.
It's true.
Anyway, so your Kickstarter with some dice.
Yeah. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to. I appreciate it.
I bet you do.
I do. That's exciting.
I'm just giving you the business, John.
I know.
I'm falling asleep, so your window's
window is short.
Your window is just it's closing.
Well, yeah. So they're called reality shards. They're 5-layered dice. They have a like an kind of like a rhyme scheme, like a poem. They have like an A, B, C, B, A color scheme. So the top and the bottom are the same color, and they progress towards a different, like a 3rd color in the middle. Those are super cool. And so we actually have 3 different designs right now running at the same time, which is kind of crazy, but I just wanted to get them all out there as fast as possible because it's a lot of reasons. So the second design is called Supernova Dice. They're kind of like halvesies, but the exact center is now a perfectly translucent layer. So it'd be like purple, perfectly clear blue. Those are super cool. And then the third design is the invert of those supernovas. It's taking the center of the supernova and making it its own die. So it's perfectly clear, and then the middle layer is color, and then the bottom is clear again. They're freaking awesome. So we use the same resin and stuff that we use for our halvesies, in the same factory. So they end up, so like halvesies dice are the heaviest, densest, and most well-balanced resin dice on the planet. Now they're tied with my other designs, which is pretty exciting. And then we have mini dice. So if you like mini D12s for your wargaming stuff, I know, Lance, you were talking about the D12s back during the bulk dice campaign in February. We now have mini D6s, not D12s, D6s that make buying a million D6s a lot easier.
Yes.
Is a campaign, and we have the mini D6 in the reality shard style, the supernova style, and the neutron dice style. So pretty much, it's all options. It's amazing. There's like 18 or 19 sets available. There's free dice, and there's free stickers, free enamel pins. I'm doing like my usual, excessively generous giveaway stuff.
What you should have like how many layers can you do? Could you do a 7-layer one and make a rainbow?
Somebody has actually taken designs out of our factory and jacked them to 7 layers and released that like a year ago. There are 7-layer rainbow dice. 5-layer rainbow dice look better because 7 layers, there's not enough space in a die to make the 7 layers not look muddy. So 5-layer rainbow dice, they kind of like leave out indigo and like orange or something, end up looking better. But yeah, you are correct.
So make 5-layer rainbow dice.
Also been done before me.
Doesn't mean you can't.
Why don't you make 8 layers? Make it one layer more.
You make 4-minute abs.
I know, right? Well, for the most part, I mean, one step at a time. So one step at a time. So we did 4-layer dice are really popular right now. So even though I invented 4-layer dice, other people published them before me. I'm just kind of reeling in that, and then just letting it go. So then going from there and making skipping 4 for now and doing 3s and 5s is kind of the plan.
Hey,
I mean, you know me, I'm not a step on other people's toes guy. Like even if they literally stole my own toes and would be stepping on my own, it just feels weird to make stuff that other people are being successful with, even if it was originally my design.
You should just do it. Hey, Sir Bob says that he's been playing Emdo on Board Game Arena. I think he wants to throw down with you.
That's fine.
You should say, I take on all comers. I will destroy you.
Sure.
I will
destroy you, then check the stats on how much I beat you guys.
I will.
And then analyze.
I will see you driven before me.
Then I will analyze the
lamentations of the women
in my spare time.
Yeah, there you go. See your enemies driven before you. Condon, what is good in life? No. Anything else? I mean, we never asked for a grievance. I don't think anybody's got any grievances. Well, John has grievances. People stole his dice.
That's a grievance.
Yeah.
I had a retailer tell me that they look like somebody else's dice. And he's like, this is a bold question. These look a lot like this other company's dice. And I went back and I was like, well, actually, I invented layered dice 5 years ago. And all other layered dice look like mine. And he was like, oh, good to know. So.
Well, didn't you patent it or anything?
You can patent designs and things, but patent, it's super complicated. The answer is yes and no. So if I were to patent, I'd have to patent 2 and 4 and 5 and 7, and I'd have to patent all of them in different ways, and it's super complicated. And then once the design, because everything's made in China, I would love to make it in the States, but I can't yet. So once something's taken out of the factory in China and they show it to the market, I can't patent it, even though like I invented it. So it gets super complicated. So the answer is yes and no. Half these dice are patented, and I'll probably patent the 3-layer and the 5-layer that I'm doing now. I have to like the end of next month to start the process on it. But yeah, so I wish there was an easier, funner. Of course I can, and I should have, and I'm an idiot. But it's just not that easy sometimes.
Oh, hey, my daughter has to break a board with like a forearm smash.
Oh, good for her. That's so easy.
Well, yeah, she's having some trouble with it. It's been like she's tried now for 2 weeks and she can't get it done. All so right. What's the tip?
So I actually just covered this in class tonight. So when you take your forearm and you want to smash it, don't smash it with your forearm. You're going to break your bone. Smash it with your elbow here. Okay, so not here. Break a bone here. Fantastic. And you want to turn your palm out, make a fist, and then bend the wrist forward. So you feel how that tightens your forearm muscle?
I don't have any muscles.
Yeah, right. That forearm muscle that gets tightened, it reinforces the bones. So it's the super hard, like Muay Thai elbow strike bones. Plus, it's reinforced with the muscle, so you're not going to break anything. And then you smash it with this area here, and you could smash. I mean, you could smash a wall as hard as you want, and you're going to hurt the wall and not you. So, yeah, that's what she needs to do. So she needs to turn it forward. It feels weird at first, but once you kind of, you can help her because you can feel the little forearm muscle cinching up. If it's down, she's going to hit with the single bone. You can feel it. If it's turned forward, that bone turns out, and the two bones connect up here and get reinforced super strong. That's what you want to do. And then she can smash as hard as she wants.
My son's got to do a spinning back kick to get the blue belt, and man, he's just a giant mess.
Spinning back kick, period, or break a board?
We'll break a board.
That's hard. That's just hard. Spinning back kicks suck. The targeting sucks. It's super hard. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
If he hits it, it's going to break because, I mean, it's a back kick.
Well, that's just it. He's missing it, and then he misses it, and then he slows down to try to hit it, and then he slows down and then hits it, but he's got no power behind it because he's basically just turned around all the way, looked back, then kicked, and so he's got no momentum.
Yeah.
So he's currently driving the instructor crazy.
Work depending on how he does it. Just make sure above all that he's driving with his heel. If the ball of his foot is leading forward, he'll never break the board because it's a spring. If he's driving with his heel, if his heel hits the middle of the board, it's going to work. Period.
Very cool. Well, hello.
What's up with your karate stuff? I want to give the kids the belt one of these days.
Hello, Forrest.
Hey, how's it going?
Forrest Bauer, what's up, my friend?
Not much. Just played a couple games.
I'm excited that you joined later than I did. I feel like not as late. I got here like
I've
10.
been in that room where Forrest is right now. I've been in there.
Yeah.
You survived.
Terraforming Mars went super duper long because one person.
Well, because it's Terraforming Mars? Is that why?
No,
that's
it
what
would
it
have been
does?
pretty snappy. We were playing a 3-player game, and two of us were like, our turns were like this. We knew what we were doing because it's a very forward planning game for the most part. And then one person, would be sitting there waiting a minute or two, to be polite, and then she'd be like, "Is it my turn?" And I'd be like, "Oh, damn it! Yes, it's your turn." Like 5 or 6 times. And then she would look at her cards and she didn't know what she was doing and it just, so it dragged. I also played, I missed grievances, but I got a terrible game to talk about.
Oh, well.
Is it Terraforming? Did you already start? Is it Terraforming Mars?
No, I love me some Terraforming Mars.
What are you eating?
Salad.
Tossed salad?
Welcome to the jungle for all the Alaboomers. This is terrible. Terrible game. Oh my god. From Coffee Cake Games. I'm going to shoot a preview for it tomorrow. It's going to make a bunch of money because the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. But it feels like it was designed in 1988 by someone who played a bunch of mass market kids games and then wanted to make an adult game. Just majorly wild and swingy in a negative way. You start your turn by spinning a spinner, and you're either going to get $1,000. You could get $1,000, which is huge, or you could lose everything.
They're 9% funded.
Oh, it's only 9%?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do a preview, and it will not have any opinion in it because the opinion would be very, very negative. But, man, it's just so many poor decisions. The thing is, it could have been a good game, but it's just, oh, God. Somebody needed to talk to them in playtesting and be like, hey, man, have you considered this or this or this or this? Just a lot of really bizarre choices.
Well,
somebody's going to quote you in the comment section tomorrow.
That's fine. I'll stand by it. Anybody who plays it, I'll ship you my copy if you pay for shipping. You'll see what the hell I'm talking about. It's not a good game. And it's 1 to 2 hours. Jesus Christ. It's so random and swingy at the 1 to 2 hour. Oh, yeah. And the downtime between turns. Don't even get me started. There's this really cool, Blue Moon-esque aspect of card combat, but you do that in between your turns. On your turn, you challenge somebody else, and then you do a 5 to 10 minute card combat thing which if you're not involved in it means you're just sitting there with your dick in your hand for 5 to 10 minutes. And if somebody else does that and you're not involved in it, you can have 20 minutes of downtime between turns where you're doing nothing. And it's just, God, it's so, yeah, there's my grievance. Coffee cake games, whatever that, Welcome to the Jungle. Not a good game. That's why I don't like to do Kickstarters that much anymore, except for the King's Armory, of course, which is fantastic. And you should check it out if you like epic games.
Indeed. Well, if it makes you feel any better, they're at less than 10% of their goal on day 3. They're not going to fund.
And see, here's the thing. Like, I feel bad for saying I don't want it to get funded, but at the same time, no, I don't want it to get funded because it's a bad game. And we're already oversaturated. I mean, with good games, let alone bad games. Just damn it.
And the artwork is really nice. So there's going to be a lot of people that would end up throwing their money at this at a convention or something if it got published.
I'm really surprised that it's that low funded. Oh, well.
I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, is it their first one? Do they
Not sure.
Yeah, it's their first one.
They had a booth at Gen Con and everything. Oh, my God. No, you know what? My grievance is not over. My grievance is not over. There's also this wildly swingy aspect to the game where at the beginning, when everybody spins the spinner, you can gamble stuff on that. But you only have a 1 in 4 shot of doing it. But you can double up, essentially. And so what we had somebody do, oh, my God. It's so bad. It's just so many poor choices. Like, it could have been a good game. Like, there's a good skeleton here for a game, and it's just no. All right, I'm done. I'm done
Well,
talking.
Isn't that? Aren't you affiliated with Coffee Cape Games? Their Hexagram 63.
Nope.
Oh, okay. I thought for sure.
That would have been funny.
Nope. I saw they were coming out with a game called Welcome to the Jungle, and I was like, oh, okay, let me go check it out. And I saw it. I was like, nope.
Yeah, the art and the Kickstarter is just gorgeous. And they have it on Tabletopia already. They have done everything right except for game design.
Well,
it's kind of important.
Oh man. Well, guys, I am falling asleep while sitting here because I am one tired guy.
It was a great Alaboom.
Well, hey, show up on time and you would be. So you had to go play Welcome to the Jungle.
And Terraforming Mars.
A duet of pleasures. Anyway, well, go play Seth. Go play Seth. Go play Eminent Domain against Seth in the Board Game Arena. And let me know if you beat him. And be on the lookout for the Belfort 10th anniversary Kickstarter with brand new content plus the hard to find expansion coming in October as well.
I have the expansion.
You don't have the expansion?
Yeah.
That's cute.
Well, you'll be able to get the expansion through the Kickstarter. You can buy it separately. So
I already have it. I don't need it.
You have it?
Yes.
So you don't have it. That way you can get it through the Kickstarter.
No, I do have it.
Okay, so you do have the base game.
I have the base game and the expansion.
Okay, well, it's good for you. This is good news. You'll be able to get the expansion through the Kickstarter.
I don't need the expansion. But
There
I do
is
like spam.
There's also some brand new mini expansion stuff that Jay and Sen made that and a new rule set that kind of streamlines the Belfort rules a little bit that will be made available. And you can also you'll also be able to get those as well. That is our plan. So if you want to complete your Belfort experience. But this will be the 10th anniversary edition, so it will be kind of pimped out a little bit. So you might want to replace the one that you have.
You know, I would love it if so. It's going to be so confusing when we call this a 10th anniversary edition of Belfort because Belfort hasn't been out 10 years.
Well, yeah, but it's the 10th anniversary like celebration.
Right. I don't know. I'm a little confused as to why. I don't know. I think some wires got crossed on messaging.
Yeah. Wait. So it's not.
It's 10 years of TMG, not 10 years of Belfort.
Yeah, it's 10 years of TMG.
What? I'm glad John has the same reaction. That
I'm waiting for 5 years from now for the 15th anniversary of Jam.
Well,
I mean, at this point, I'm upgrading at King's Armory to its 10-year anniversary too. That sounds like a brilliant marketing scheme.
So yeah, I mean,
You guys just
we don't
might
have to
have all
call.
heard about it until 2014, right?
I'm just saying we don't have to call this Belfort thing an anniversary edition.
this
We
this
can
is a
just
great
call it-
conversation
we can say-
for off the air when we have our
no, I
team
feel
meeting
like
tomorrow.
people are enjoying this conversation.
What I'm just trying to clarify for people when they see it, it's not Belfort isn't 10 years old. TMG is, so don't be confused when it says 10th anniversary edition. I'm sure we're gonna get some.
You can't call it
questions
edition.
on
You can
that.
say 10th TMG celebrating its 10th anniversary
Yeah,
and releasing a second edition of Belfort.
That's
feel
not
like
that's too wordy.
Hey, how about you worry about your company and we'll worry about ours?
All right. I mean, we're just trying to save you heartache, man. You're gonna hear it on the campaign.
No, I appreciate your input. I thank you for taking the time
But
to let me
Lance,
know.
Lance, can I get the expansion in the Kickstarter?
No, I gotta block you from backing it.
Now, is this not the 10-year anniversary of the expansion?
It's the 5th
It's a 25
anniversary of the
anniversary.
expansion.
It's a 49.
It was nice talking to all three of those. Ed Forrest, cheat, figure it out. There he goes.
Yeah.
All right. So no, I seriously, I have to get some sleep if I'm gonna be able to have any semblance of normalcy tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us on the 27th anniversary of
Oh,
Alaboom.
Jesus. I appreciate everyone, but Anthony.
Hey, you made me have to wait to answer questions before.
Oh yeah, that's true. But you lost, so
Because you had to cheat.
accept the loss with dignity.
You had to cheat.
I didn't cheat. I just put different rules. But all right, no, seriously, everybody have a great night. Be positive. Be the best person. Be the best version of you that you can possibly be. And as the wise Tim Norris says, remove toxic people, situations, and problems out of your life, and just be a happier person. Anybody else got anything they want to say?
Happy anniversary.
I love you all. Happy anniversary.
Well done. We didn't have a single well done this entire episode.
Good job.
Oh, good job.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job. We gotta get. I want that shirt. Good job.
Good job.
You're doing
Welcome
a
to
good
the
job
jungle.
out there.
Good job.
All right, let's drag out the salutation a little longer.
All right, Seth, you got to work at your engineering job tomorrow, or are you going to be around most of the day TMGing?
I will be around. I'll have Corbin with me, but I'll tomorrow's my day to be in charge of the TMG Twitter account, so I'll be doing something with that.
Cool.
Trying to drive some engagement, I guess. And
go ahead.
I just got to do some other various things.
I wanna, if you have time tomorrow, I want to talk about Belfort stuff with you. Just get see where your head's at. So,
You guys have had 10 years to talk about this, and you haven't got around to it yet?
Anyway,
I just feel like the anniversary edition, like that, just the specific wording, it's very confusing.
the horse is dead. Okay.
No, it's not. You really don't think when you launch this on Kickstarter, people are not going to ask this question?
You know, it might be worth just going full bore with the whole thing, and then you're celebrating that. You know,
Oh, I'm already full board, so just don't worry about that. No, but Seth,
So
no, I just
points out in the comments. Did anyone get confused when Axis and Allies had a 50th anniversary edition? I think we all knew it was everyone who was 50 and not Axis and Allies.
I was confused.
So thank you, Kabuki Kid, for having our back.
Yeah. Thank you, Grid, person who I've never met in person, as opposed to people who have to my face told me they were my friends and that they love me. So
a real friend tells you when you have something on your face. I mean, if you're running around with like a booger hanging off your cheek.
You know what? You have a horrible beard on your face, but you somehow never shave it off. So there you go. How does that feel?
We're just trying to help.
Yeah. Go find your basket. Put something in it. No, but Seth, I'll ping you tomorrow. And have you looked at the little mini expansion stuff that Jane sent over?
I had done before, and I saw an email from yesterday or whatever, and it was the same thing. So you were talking about the same thing I was thinking about. Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance to play with any of it.
Talk about it tomorrow, and I want you to suss it out and see if you think it has legs, and if you think it's square. So,
I mean, sure.
All right,
we'll talk about that.
I'm sure it is, but I mean, you're our lead developer, and I want to make sure that it isn't, I don't know, dumb or bad before we say we're going to put it in.
Most of it sound pretty good. I have to look a little closer, but most of it sounded good to me.
All right, very good. So, good night, everybody. I love you all.
I love you too, Lance.